Like,
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're having a wonderful Friday night. Let me see here. It has been exactly 84 days since it ended, 84 live streams, 84 videos, probably more at this point. But we have yet more Sig nonsense to cover. Some of us in the panel here are mentioned, not necessarily by name, because for some reason these people don't like to say names, but I think you were, Protriband, I think you were the masked weirdo or something. I forget his exact language that he used, but yeah, you're one of those guys that got called out by the Sig Armor himself. So before we get into all of that, how's everybody's night going?
Very good, very good.
very nice.
Thumbs up all around.
It was 84 focus trip videos, but in trench grenade time, that's like 840 videos.
I was like, how many are you up to a day now? Do you do 3 a day now?
So I've been doing an experiment on the channel, and I found the algorithm obviously loves it the more you post. So try to do 1 per day, and it will just, regardless of what you're posting, you can spend 5 hours editing a perfect range video and get 1,000 views, or you can post literal trash and get 10,000 views for nothing. So
the people want the slop. They want it.
Well, that's what they want, something to watch while they're eating dinner or whatnot, right? It's or while they're on the toilet, and they want you to talk about an interesting topic. So you pick about whatever's hot that day, something in the news. You could talk about journalists getting their private images leaked online. Did any of you guys see that today? Was it Glenn Greenwald?
Did not.
No.
I am not going to repost what was posted, but it is it's normal journalist behavior, let's say.
Him and his sodomite roommate?
Yeah.
Ew.
It's bad. So while everybody's rolling in here, Protriband, Trench, Bones, Dank, and John, thanks very much for hanging out tonight. We have a lot of individual things to discuss before we get into the main topic, but I wanted to start off with some very wild speculation that people had brought to me, and they're like little bite-sized stories, not really deserving of their own topic, or their own video or live stream or whatnot, but they're just little things, right? So allegedly, a little bird told me this, that Brownells, a big retail store, one of their employees had sent a bunch of Sig P320s back to Sig to check for a very specific issue. And apparently Sig recertified a bunch of their pistols that they were safe. So they were pulling literal pistols off the shelf, sending them back to Sig. And then 10 out of 15 came back or something like that and said that these ones were safe to put back on the shelves. And allegedly, again, this is just a little bird told me this, Sig said that they had found the issue with some of their guns. So that is just one little birdie piece of information there that I thought was interesting, to say the least. And the second one, let me pull this up. And that's very unconfirmed. That's just a story that somebody told me. So that's why I'm not, you take that with a grain of salt, but it was interesting. All right. Here we have a P320 OEM trigger bar with the 5.76 marking. Now, why is that specifically important? is because according to this website, and I think who sent this to me, this was actually LFD Research. They sent this to me. So the same guys who were able to recreate the issue with the 1045 takedown safety causing the gun to go off at random says this trigger bar is needed for compatibility with our P320 pre-travel stop. This trigger bar allows for reduced pre-travel while maintaining striker safety margins, whereas earlier trigger bars defeat the striker safety earlier in the pre-travel. Allegedly, there was an update about 2024 as to where the striker safety was defeated. So the idea is that the earlier pistol models actually had the striker safety get defeated earlier in the trigger press, and they updated it to make it even further back before the striker safety was defeated. And that's about 2024. So this just goes, add this to the pile of alleged little stealth changes that Sig has made along the way. This is probably design update 84 as well to alleviate some of the issues of these things going off. So
like the shadow patches.
Yeah, little stealth patches to hopefully stealth patch up your leg after it goes off. Oh my. Any thoughts on that before we move on?
Yeah, you know what's funny, Bones? After that live stream, that impromptu one we did, I don't know, like what, 2 weeks ago now? Or something like that. It kind of, so a lot of guys in the army follow my channel for some reason, right? And they were like, dude, I saw you that live about the XM7. Like, you know, dudes were just bringing it up at work. And it's like, at what point does Sig have to stop and address everything before even the army drops them? Because now dudes at work, it's like common, it's like hallway talk. You know what I mean? Like dudes will be like, dude, freaking the M7, is it true about the M7 barrel not making it through a qual without overheating? It's like, that's it. Yeah, a captain wrote the article about it. So I just think at some point Sig is gonna have to say something, right? You know,
things are definitely boiling over, and this seems like they're at the point where Sig should issue a formal recall, which they probably won't do, right? Because that's bad for business, and they already have all this out here, right? But like they're it seems like they're trying to skate it under the rug and be like, guys, we're fixing it. Like something's wrong, but we're not actually going to address it. But maybe something was an issue, and it'll reach a boiling point for sure. Yeah, I mean it's definitely losing a lot of the military interest and trust within the armed forces who get the M17, the XM7 for sure.
I mean, you can even reference Protraband's. So guys know about Protraband's videos, and I can't say too specific, but let's just put it this way: everyone that comes on post has to go through the gate every day, right? And dudes know about Protraband's video. Dudes openly joke about the Sig at this point, and it wasn't like that.
Protraband.
What's saying?
I guess so. Continue, Trench, you're saying?
Oh, yeah. It's just, so it wasn't like that. In 2016, 2017, when the guns weren't drop safe and they recalled literally like 125,000 of them, no one cared because it's just, oops, you know, all guns have issues sometimes or whatever. But now it's the gaslighting and the steps that Sig has taken. Now it's just a commonplace in an organization where dudes don't like guns, right? Dudes get paid to shoot guns, but they don't necessarily like them. So to have a channel like Protraband being, well, you know, I saw a video of this guy, you know, on the internet. It's like guys don't reference YouTube and they definitely don't talk about guns normally. So to have it be common practice or have people be like, hey, dude, I saw the video. Is it true? Or your thoughts on the 320 or the M17? It's like, hey, man, I'm just telling you what everyone on the internet is talking about. So.
Yeah. Well, I agree. It's, you know, we had the trigger bar. We had the whatever fake Loctite they used that was flinging sights everywhere. So it's like, how many chances do they get before we have a functional quality pistol? I'm pretty sure you can buy a Gen 3 Glock over the counter still, and that's just got to drive them crazy. So it's like, how many chances do we give these guys to get it right, really?
It's death by 1,000 NDs. It just
really
keeps on happening.
The NDs that continue until morale improves.
Morale improves. It's true. 84 days since it ND'd. Yeah. So I mean, there's so many little problems, and I rarely hear anything good from anyone who has used the XM7 in a military application. I hear lots of praise from the private sector. Like, people get their XM7 and they're like, oh, I love this thing. It's so cool. And, they've shot like maybe a couple hundred rounds through it. Right. But people who actually have to use the thing, I rarely, if ever, hear anything positive about it. And Sig is getting hit on all sides. The XM7 program, the ammunition, not their optics. Their optics are still doing okay so far.
No, they're not.
Their handguns, which will actually, are we talking about the M17, M18 optics specifically?
Yes. No, the M7. Because now it's the M7. The XM7 M7's optic will not survive a 48-hour field problem.
Right. That's
that's a Vortex product.
That's Vortex's problem.
Oh, my bad.
So, yeah. So that's a NGSW problem. Agreed, but just not a Sig problem specifically.
Yeah.
So
I can't say anything about my 18 because I have like maybe 100 so rounds through my AUG with it. But I like it.
Well, here's one funny thing, just for everyone's situational awareness. So, in the military, when you take on a new weapon, you have to get rid of old stuff, right? So the ACOGs, all the RCOs, the rifle combat optics, or the ACOG TA31s, those cannot remain, allegedly. I don't represent the Army or DOD, but what these units allegedly have been saying is, well, we're being told we have to get rid of our RCOs and CCOs, their aim points and their ACOGs. So what's happening is dudes that don't want the gun are being equipped with it. It can't survive 48 to 72 hours. Either both the rifle, because it's suppressed and it's overheating and all the issues that I think Focus covered on this channel, and the way whatever, and the optics won't make it 72 hours. But now they're being told you have to get rid of, you can't be signed for all these other optics for a rifle that's not even on your MTO. So because it's not on the MTO, they can't have the ACOGs. So now you have a bunch of 11 series infantry dudes that are being ordered to carry the M7 with the issued optic.
Right.
That sucks, dude. And Trench, in that report that I think you're referencing, wasn't it they ran out of ammo in like 15 minutes in some
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it was a field training exercise. Yeah.
Yeah, so
the fire and maneuver, everybody was black on ammo, basically.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, so every time you do.
Go ahead, Trent. I don't know.
Oh, I was just going to, anytime you do any sort of platoon size operation, you have a base of fire or a support by fire. And typically you will cross load or overload that support by fire. In the case that you're referencing, Captain Trent found that both the base of fire, so the local base of fire, the support by fire, and the assault element all went black on ammo prior to the end of the engagement. That is unheard of because it's a squad leader's job to manage his squad's ammunition expenditure during a fight. So the fact that non-commissioned officers cannot effectively manage ammunition counts with the M7 is a major problem compared to the M4A1.
That's also not just Trench saying that. I have a friend who's a ranked officer in the military who has said that his NCOs are saying the same thing. I gotta be careful,
No, you're fine, King.
We all gotta be real careful. Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Yeah, but he said he was giving me the report from his NCO saying the same thing about the M7. It's just it can't. It's too heavy. It's all this. It's not good.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much. It almost feels like it is making our military weaker in a sense. I mean, I don't think that's out there to say at this point, right?
It's so I'll play devil's advocate for a second and say that a lot of these guys probably aren't trained and used to having a lesser amount of ammo. So it makes sense to me that they'd run out quickly if they're going by the same doctrine they've been used before. However, it's a battle rifle. We've gone full circle. We have reinvented the battle rifle, and we're suffering from all the battle rifle things. It's heavier, you carry less ammo, it gets hot quickly, and you're trying to squeeze as much as you can out of the short barrel, which burns it out.
Yeah, I think it is literally just the M14 program 2.0.
What if we take a battle rifle, we reinvent it, and we somehow make it shittier?
If Sig could fix the issues, it'd be a great specialist weapon. Probably.
Yeah, I agree. I think as a DMR, or as if the Army wants to go back to issuing different weapon systems for different troops, like DMRs, rear echelon troops having like a PDW or an SMG like the M1 carbine, we can engage that, but they don't want to do that for logistical issues. So yes, specialty weapon system, absolutely. Every single person having one makes zero sense. Like you're going to expect now the 100-pound, 5'0" female to carry this thing around and qual with it.
Well, I shouldn't have women in infantry anyway, but
I mean,
is it kind of funny? Is it kind of funny that in this hypothetical scenario where you have this female who's like, short or whatnot, and the rifle plus ammo is approximately 25% of her body weight?
What's the ratio? You're only supposed to carry so much. Technically, it's only supposed to be.
No, I know, but I feel like it's a lot more to ask.
The Army is downsizing the average soldier load, I believe, to 55 total pounds to include the rifle, ammunition. I could be wrong. I know there's probably some. So my boss is probably watching this, but yeah, literally the fact that we're going to a heavier rifle with less ammunition, some dude working at PSA that shoots, some 16-inch rifle could have told you, hold on, wait a second. That's not a good plan. You know what I mean?
More bullets,
it's
more
just
better.
Basic math.
Yeah, nobody has ever said, I want a heavier weapon system with less ammo. Not once.
You could watch 5 minutes of any Ukraine footage at all, and you know what you're going to see? Dudes mag dumping in trenches, right?
Yeah.
So, I've seen
that's a useful thought exercise. So think about a situation of some footage that you've seen, and you're like, you know what? I'd rather have a heavier gun in this situation.
I've seen a few interviews.
Sorry, dang.
You want to go ahead?
Oh, I was just going to say, I'm not sure. My apologies, boss. I'm not sure trench warfare is what a Western-led combined arms war would look like against Russia, because Russia and Ukraine are like two not very economically well-off countries, and they don't fight the way we do with mobile mechanized units. I mean, they're trying, but their equipment's not as good as ours.
So there's the argument that it's not a 1-to-1 ratio because the war in Ukraine is a ground invasion by a neighboring country, and that likely isn't what would occur in between U.S. and China or Russia, theoretically, wargaming here. Hopefully not, at least. The point of that weapon system and what they wanted to get out of it was, let's defeat Chinese body armor and have this muzzle velocity out of this cartridge and this barrel length. So I get where you're coming from, but it's still good to use as an analog, but it's not a 1-to-1 ratio because it would look different. Yes.
I've seen some interviews with Ukrainian soldiers or Russian. I don't know. They all dress the same over
folks
there.
Fighting in Yuki.
Damn.
Yeah, people fighting over in Eastern Europe. But I've seen quite a few interviews with them where certain people were getting issued SCAR H's, and they'd immediately go, "No, we want to go back to 5.56 or 5.45 just for the ammo carrying capacity." In these fights, we're usually in closer proximity, so we want more ammo. It doesn't really matter the armor penetration, at least in their eyes, what they were saying.
It's been said before, but America kind of fights, or they build weapons for the last war they fought. So, for instance, if you're like, hey, we're in the mountains of Afghanistan with 1,000-yard sight lines, I need a gun that can shoot 1,000 yards. And the next war is like urban, right? And the next war is urban combat. It's like, I no longer need this 1,000-yard rifle. But so, what do you guys think is the appropriate response from Sig with all of these different issues? What do you think the appropriate response is? And then we'll see what they actually responded with recently.
Bruh, do we want to go just down the line, every person give their input on
this?
Well,
I don't know. Who has a strong opinion on what they should do? Because I've heard the word recall, maybe an apology, maybe some sort of admittance of guilt, maybe fire a couple CEOs or a couple upper level employees or something. I'm all ears.
In my view, you fire the CEO or have him resign, clear out everybody who greenlit or approved the 320 in any way, and just start over. Because there is some stuff they can salvage, right?
I actually disagree. I think they could win the internet over through they could psyop the internet. They could literally meme the internet back by just saying, check it out, you win. And then it will be really, really bad for a long time. And then eventually they will be either not a company anymore or they'll be okay. But admitting any fault, like with this New Hampshire thing, where they pretty much allegedly allegedly greased, as Ben Stager kind of worded it on his video today. They greased the system to make sure that he could that they could get their lawsuit through, right? So in my opinion, I think it's such a widespread, it's in common use, if you will, the conversation about the M7 and about the 320. And even dudes that are adamant and passionate, like in my situation where I have won competitions, I've carried it, and I used to defend it, right? If anyone follows my channel, I used to be like, listen, it hasn't happened to me kind of thing. And then as things kept evolving, I was like, oh man, this thing is trash. So the fact that it's common and common usage in the locker room talk or whatever, the fact that we've gotten to that point, something's got to happen, right? Or channels like Focuses, Protraban, right? All of our channels in here are just gonna, anytime something happens, be like, look, they're still at it again. You know what I mean?
And the reason Richard isn't here tonight is because he's actually feeling a little bit sick. So I hope you're feeling a little better, buddy, and at least getting some entertainment. It says 100% total recall and blacklist the CEO from ruining other companies. Well, instead of doing that, they lobbied. They did lobby New Hampshire lawmakers to get a bill passed that says, hey, I don't think people should sue us anymore. Which I guess paying a few politicians a couple $100,000 is cheaper than a couple $1 million per lawsuit, right? So back in April, in a nearly empty room at the New Hampshire State House, Bobby Cox, great name, an executive with the gunmaker Sig Sauer had come with a request, right? So this is basically verbatim. There's a representative and there's a guy from Sig Sauer saying, hey, we need this. How much money is this going to take? He said his company, one of the biggest gun manufacturers in the country and a major employer on New Hampshire's seacoast, needed protection. Specifically, Sig Sauer wanted state lawmakers to shield it from a barrage of liability lawsuits that allege the company's best-selling P320 pistol has an inherent safety defect. We want to bring this amendment to show you what out-of-state plaintiffs' attorneys are doing attacking in-state businesses, Cox told a Senate committee, and we ask for your support and help. Over the past few years, Newington-based Sig Sauer has been sued dozens of times by gun owners who were shot by their P320s, including police officers and federal agents, and who claim the guns designed and its lack of an external safety make the company liable for injuries. Sig has denied the weapons are unsafe and has been fighting the lawsuits in court, but over the past few weeks, the company has used its influences as one of the state's largest manufacturers to change New Hampshire law to protect itself from future liability lawsuits. The measure Cox was advocating for swiftly cleared the legislature without any notice for public comment. They literally slammed it through in, I think, 2 weeks.
Jesus.
As soon as it was on the board. Actually, Richard sent me the link last time, but like from when it was posted to getting slammed through with no public comment, very quick. So the Governor Kelly Ayotte signed the bill one day after it was cleared for the final vote, despite objections from some Democrats. And see, this is where like classical Democrat values actually do have some merit in some of these situations, from protecting companies from basically being immune to prosecution and just buying politicians, being like, you know what, guys, if you could make people not be able to sue us, that would be awesome.
It would be so awesome.
Yeah, it would be so cool.
Jesus.
Yeah.
When I'm in a grasping at straws and copium competition and my opponent is Sig, jeez.
And
I'm
mean,
wondering if
it's
there's
really go for it.
I was wondering if there's DoD pressure behind that getting through so fast.
It could. I mean, I don't know.
Who knows, man?
Too low on the totem pole to know.
Same.
It kind of is this anything similar to what Springfield did with where they're technically based out of? They lobbied to have all the other manufacturers have this tax or whatever, but keep them immune from it. You guys know what I'm talking about? That Springfield did.
Yeah,
that's a while back.
Yeah, it's a little.
It's like 2016 or something like that.
Yeah. Not the first time we've seen something like this, I guess.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
And somebody, I think, what was it? Task Force Tater on Instagram was like, why didn't Remington do this? And then I think Sig just literally learned from Remington's mistake, because Remington basically got sued out of business. And so Sig is like, well, that's not going to happen to us, even though Sig might be a little bit more deserving than Remington was in that specific case.
I think
so.
And so what I want to clarify, just quickly focus, is this won't stop a majority of the lawsuits where the claim is it's a defective, something's defective inside it. It's really just those that want to say and point to the fact that, hey, you don't have a trigger safety technically. That's
Correct.
all this stops. So it is
okay.
stemming, but it's not like 100% carte launch immunity by any
No.
means.
They're doing as much as they can, and they are
Yes.
definitely limited in what they can do, but they're trying their best. And I mean, it's from Sig's perspective, paying a couple politicians or pushing a bill through as fast as possible is a lot cheaper and faster. Right.
Absolutely.
I think what's more interesting at this point is anyone that actually defends them actively. Like, I can't tell if it's sarcasm or not, but there are people that still actively defend the P320 specifically. And I think that's what's more interesting and concerning at this point, because we know that allegedly that the company is corrupt and has been doing bad things for a long time now and releasing inferior products. But the fact that the dudes are like, I've carried a 320 for 47 years and have 8 million rounds on it. It's like, no, you have not. Because if you did, and you were good with the gun, you would understand that it's holding you back in more ways than just one at this point. Reputation is a lot, right? And I was talking to somebody about this the other day. Might have been Protraman, maybe, or I don't remember. But I was like, your name, basically the discussion was your name is all you have. Once you lose integrity, you're done. So the fact that a dude defending a company that won't even live up to their own, their own standards or never settle, right? I think is their thing or whatever. That says a lot about a man that would defend a company like that. And everyone makes mistakes, right? We can go down the rabbit hole of gun tubers that have made mistakes, but the fact of not owning up to it and not, I guess, doing your time, if you will, that's what we're looking at now with both Sig supporters and Sig Sauer themselves.
Yeah, it's not sarcasm. It's the PSA effect where people have to defend their purchases and they feel personally attacked if you talk about a product that they own negatively.
Yeah, I get wanting to defend Sig. It's like, it's an American company. It's what the United States Armed Forces use. But
except for India,
yeah, apparently
a little bit.
Do not redeem the Sig Sauer.
I think a lot of their products are cool in concept. I really like the Spear, like what it's going for, and same with the MCX or the Spear LTs as well. But the quality control just isn't there. There are some design flaws with the quick change barrel. I don't think
we are gonna talk about some wild claims in a video about Sig Sauer's quality control. Now, basically the exact same day that they put out that video, or that lawsuit, or that bill got passed protecting them from that specific type of lawsuit in New Hampshire, Mr. Gray Guns, who has been a adamant defender of the P320, they at several times have said that it is ammunition, it is holsters, it is user error. They, based on the same day, I believe, came out with this 3-minute video, which we're going to take a look at, basically confirming the LFD findings, which were based off of that interview that I may or may not have had with a person at Sig.
Focus, they didn't just defend them. They went after the audience and said, send me your gun and I'll fix it and show you that you're wrong.
Yeah, no, they were adamant defenders. And Gray Guns and Sig are very closely tied together. John Gray, is that the guy who owns it?
I thought it was Bruce Gray, but I could be wrong.
Bruce Gray, yeah, one of those guys. The guy who owns it, very closely tied with Sig, and a long time Sig defender. And then they posted this today. So we'll go ahead and give this a listen.
Hey everyone, my name is Keith Hosey, and I'm the Director of Gunsmithing here at Gray Guns. Today we want to talk about something important involving the Sig P320 platform. On May 19th, LFD Research released a video showing a potential safety issue. Specifically when a 45 ACP or 10mm takedown safety lever is used in a 9mm 40 Smith & Wesson or 357 Sig P320. At Gray Guns, just as we always do with customer concerns, we took this very seriously. We reviewed the video, built our own test configurations, and ran through every detail to make sure we understood all of the variables involved. Here's what we found. In the current configuration of the P320, we have confirmed a repeatable and observable mechanical issue, triggered by both an incorrect part and specific additional factors that can cause the gun to fire without the trigger being pressed. While we've never encountered a P320 in the field configured with the wrong takedown safety lever, our testing does confirm that under specific conditions, the platform can discharge without a trigger press when configured this way. Here's the factors that need to exist for the gun to be fired uncommanded. A 45 or 10mm takedown safety lever must be incorrectly installed in a 9mm 40-357 P320. The gun needs to be reassembled without the slide block disengaging the takedown safety lever. The first 2 points can create a condition called Sear perching, where the sear is not engaging the striker enough to hold it safely. The striker lock or striker lock spring must be missing or damaged. The gun can only fire without the trigger being actuated if all 4 of these conditions are met. To reiterate, using the wrong takedown safety lever alone won't cause this, and our testing so far indicates that a properly functioning striker safety lock will prevent the gun from firing, even if
So a couple minor things here. So there are many different versions of the striker safety itself. The earlier versions were MIMD parts, which we have seen broken. We're actually going to see a couple broken ones later in this video from the Sig Armorer himself. So this condition can happen. And now keep in mind that they sell both of the FCUs on their own, the guns that you can interchange all of these parts with. So there is tolerance stacking going on. There is different types of parts. There's different stealth updates between the generations. For instance, mine is a pre-voluntary upgrade model, which means that I do not have a secondary sear catch. And then all pistols made after 2019 have a secondary sear catch that mine does not have. So there are multiple different variables here that can go wrong. And you do need to get a couple of them in the unlucky lottery to get a P320 in the unsafe condition.
the striker slips due to the sear not fully engaging with the striker, even with the incorrect takedown safety lever installed. So what can you do? First, check your takedown safety lever. Here are both takedown safety levers. The difference between the two is very slight, but the 10mm 45
they're just different, as in they look basically the same, almost identical.
This is so obvious that they watched your video and have been following Ben's updates, and they are just putting out a public announcement. It's obvious to me anyway. I don't know what you guys think, but it just looks like they're parroting what they feel the right answer would be at this point.
It kind of
so I think that they did test it themselves and came to the exact same conclusion. So the train of events is pretty simple. I release the little clip on the backup channel and my channel about the Sig interview. Then LFD goes and recreates it, and it happens. Basically, word for word is what I stated in the video. And then Gray Guns, they test it themselves and are like, damn it, it's real. So, I mean,
darn.
Yeah, it's like, well, you know that thing that we were staking our reputation on? Well, turns out there actually is a way to get it to go, huh? And so here's the thing. Multiple people inside Sig know this. And they've known for quite a while that there is a unsafe configuration out there.
But I guess here's the question now. Now that Gray Guns has came forward and they're attempting to correct the wrong, are they welcome back to the table, or do they stay exiled? You see what I'm saying?
You mean from like the consumer side or from Sig?
I would say, well, from Sig, obviously they're not going to be welcome back, right? But I would say from the internet's perspective, from the regular dude, like if you hear Gray Guns I think Bones and I were talking about this, the gun counter rumors, right? If you hear Gray Guns get brought up at the gun counter, even though we probably don't go to the gun counter, we just order through an FFL, but you know, the things you hear is like, oh, well, you heard them, you know, they admitted their fault, or is it still always going to be, no, they went to Sig's back?
I think that this video does a lot of good for their public reputation, because as one of the biggest Sig defenders, coming out and honestly assessing that, hey, there is a real possible configuration that can render the gun unsafe. To me, that shows a sign of goodwill. Now, to be perfectly honest, I was never going to buy anything from Gray Guns anyways, right? Because I'm not into the 320 platform at all, so their products are basically irrelevant to me. I'm not sure how the rest of the panel feels about that, though.
I'm in the same boat with you.
Yeah.
Agreed.
version can allow for a 9mm 40 357 magazine to be inserted into the gun without disengaging the takedown safety lever. If you discover a 10mm 45 takedown safety lever installed in a 9mm 40 357 P320, stop using the pistol immediately and have it inspected by a qualified gunsmith or armorer. And finally, if you own multiple P320 variants, never swap a 10 or 45 FCU or non-interchangeable internal parts for use in a 940 357 P320. We wanted to thank LFD Research again for their time and effort that went into identifying this scenario. At Grey Guns, your safety is our top priority. We'll keep testing, we'll keep innovating, and we'll always share what we learn.
How did the 400 engineers at Sig miss this?
It's
And
almost
they
like
didn't.
they
And
did.
they only,
I think that it was a rush hack job to transition from a double action only hammer design to a striker design. And they were like, how do we get this to fit inside of the gun? And then the engineers were like, I don't know, we'll slap it together. And they did it. And they won some contracts with it. And then later on down the road, they're like, hey, you know, this design might actually have some issues that we need to fix, 10, 20 times with a bunch of different parts changes and manufacturing changes along the way, all while trying to cut as many cost corners as possible. So I think it's as with the issues with the P320, the P320's inception is multifactorial. It's a lot of different things working against each other. It's a greedy company going after all of the contracts while trying to do things as fast and as cheaply as possible. Which is why the P320 is so good that they never use the design again in the 365 or anything else moving forward.
but remember, even with the 365, the firing pins broke, all light primer strikes.
The joke has been for years, don't buy a Sig Gen 1 gun.
Yes, and but the thing that bothers me at this point is dudes that passionately defend the 365, but they still have issues, but it's just overshadowed by the 320. You see what I'm saying? So
100%.
It's so frustrating once you start to try to engage with these SIGAs. Now I'm going to jail.
Whoa.
You're getting arrested, kicked out, dishonorable discharge.
Correct.
Police are coming.
Get him.
Hey, at least he said it with a soft A.
Hammer squad.
Correct.
Yeah,
But it's so
Hard
interesting
R's
to
are
see these
words.
guys well, there's nothing wrong with the 365 in my comment section. What about the 365 transfer? I'm like, I can't hold it up, but why the fuck would you carry that instead of a Glock 19 or literally anything else at this point? Literally anything else rather than a SIG product. You know what I mean?
I think what was Ben's comment on it? Shitty product from a shady company, something like that. So
He hit the nail on the head, dude.
The need to give them my money gets lower and lower every day, and it was already basically at zero. However, Sig, their marketing man, absolute genius. Okay, let me tell you. On the exact same day that Grey Guns put up their post, they were like, you know what goes along with 320s? Tattoo collaboration on 320 slide. Yeah. You can get a tribal 320.
Oh
bro.
my god. I'm gonna get a Sig bad tribal tattoo.
Yeah, here we go. Ready?
Oh.
Don't you dare.
I heard Nighthawk in the background. Don't you dare. That's funny.
Nighthawk, what are your thoughts on the Sig at this point?
It's how you ward off the ND. You get the tattoo and you're safe from them.
Nighthawk knows more about the Sig P320 than Sig Sauer knows about their own product at this point.
Yeah.
Holy based. Makes you really
Not
want to
gonna
play
lie.
Sig.
I'm over the lo-fi.
Bro, but you could get this painted on your P320, bro, which is symbolizes the heart of courage and the death for carrying a P320 or
For when
something.
it severs your femoral artery.
Yeah.
The funniest part about them doing this whole tattoo thing is both the carrying a P320 and getting a tattoo will permanently leave
scars on your body.
There it is. That's good.
The joke was made.
Double entendre.
Wait, what are the comments like on that, Focus?
Oh, they're good.
Oh, I can't wait.
So
I cannot
I haven't even
fucking
shown
wait.
I haven't even seen a Sig yet, bro. So I'm like, what am I
There was
watching on
one-
Sig's main X account?
One
Well, there was like
cannot
one in the
wait.
background. There's
Yeah.
one in the background. As far as I know right now, this is for a gay tattoo parlor in Portland.
Hell yeah.
Ooh, there it is. What am I looking at here?
Bedazzled.
That's ugly. I'm not gonna lie, homies. That's ugly.
It said,
This
I want my
particular
Sig
one
to
is.
look like the decor in an old-timey hotel.
Bro, what is up with gun companies and being like, listen, we're gonna do a OnlyFans collaboration. We're gonna do a Halloween, Playboy photo shoot, and we're also gonna do a collaboration with skaters and tattoo parlors
It's
for
hipster.
some reason.
Hipster.
I
Yeah,
guess.
hipsters.
I guess
Part
they're
of me
running
doesn't
out of
even,
ways.
dude, even their Star Wars. Did you see the May the 4th post?
Ugh.
I didn't. Were they trying to do
So-
something like
so it was-
Photoshop a P320 and with Darth Vader or something?
It was a stormtrooper carrying an M7, but for some reason it set me off even because I saw the picture. I'm like, dude, you have no self-awareness at all. Everyone fucking hates you, Sig. Go away.
I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like it's that meme where the guy wakes up in the morning and he just has the dead eyes, and that's the Sig social media manager every morning when
yeah.
he wakes up, just getting ready to be roasted in every comment section across the internet. But let's take a look at some of these. The Yeet Cannon, that is what that reminds me of, actually. Yeah, the $99 high point. Good luck, true. Even tattoo artists know the 250s are safe to tat, unlike the P320. Oh, is that actually a 250? That's funny that they did a 250 instead of a 320. Gay, true. Fix flawed guns or pay artists to design tats? Question mark. Sig executives? Tats. Yeah, agree. P320 comments in 3, 2, 1. Gay. What? And then nothing to say here with just lipstick on a pig. True. If Sig Sauer made hammers. Very funny.
That's pretty good.
Here we go. Gray Guns, not a Sig hater, posted today on Instagram how to create a repeatable uncommanded discharge scenario. He says it requires the same thing that we already said. Kyber Pass engravings at home. Very nice. Rest in peace, legendary tattoo artist. Yes, dangerous job enough as it is. You guys are going to do everything but fix the gun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Modern gun
gay-
industry moment.
Yeah, exactly. Pay no mind to our guns going off in your holsters. Here's some loser tattoo art instead for you neckbeards. Hey, as a neckbeard, I find that very rude. Cringe, oh so cringe. What is this? High point, true. You guys are the worst. Maybe you can sell Ron Cohen's bathwater next. Ugh. Ugh.
Ooh.
Gayers-
What's more dangerous, Ron Cohen's bathwater or the Sig P320 in a holster?
Ooh. Probably Ron Cohen's bathwater, honestly.
I'm not touching either of those things with a 10-foot pole. No, thank you.
Nope.
Yeah, entrance wounds are forever, guys.
But exit wounds are
Yeah,
temporary.
but this is like
What are you
the old
juxtaposing
world.
that to?
This is the Ron Cohen marketing strategy, right? It's what he did at Kimber. Kimber was always on the back of the magazines. They make them look cool. And, that's how they think. It's like, okay, we're just going to have this look cool with these guys, with DJ and tattoo artists. And then you'll think that that's the marketing strategy they're going for. So
I want to know
Send
if Ron
them back
Cohen's
to
ever
Kimber.
fired a gun.
Get him out of here.
Send it
Shut
back.
up.
Doesn't want him anymore.
That's true, because as soon as he left Kimber, the next guy who came in was like, hey, instead of just selling really crappy handguns that are flashy to boomers, maybe we could make something that doesn't suck. And then, congratulations, they're selling more pistols than ever now. So,
Whoa.
Good for Kimber. Does anyone know if Ron Cohen's ever actually fired a firearm? Part of me feels like he has.
Who
He
knows?
might have
After.
dropped a 320.
I was gonna say he doesn't have to. The Sig will just go off on its own.
Yeah, there you go.
On point today, boys. On point.
I'll say I know that he may not have fired a firearm, but he has shipped 38,000 pistols illegally to Colombia. So there's that.
You know,
Oops.
He has manufactured 3.5 million bombs at this point.
What kind of guys were some of the shady characters in Colombia hiring? What kind of special forces guys? Where were those guys from? I forget.
Oh, I vaguely remember what you're talking about.
Was that was a Middle Eastern country, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Off the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
It's one.
I guess we'll never know.
Pretty sure it was Gazan Special Forces. They sent the best from us.
They managed to
Hamas,
get them out of the.
Yeah, the Houthis sailed over here. Yep.
On a wooden paddle boat.
On a door.
All right.
They're the ones. They were the ones teaching Colombian cartel and paramilitaries how to fight in the 80s.
What country did we discover that was asking for special forces or ex-special forces? Blackwater dude. We just covered that.
Haiti. Yeah.
Haiti.
Barbecue.
Day before yesterday.
Lord Miles. Good luck, buddy.
Lord Miles has taken 150 of his best soldiers to Haiti to put some hurt on some gangs, and that is a target-rich environment. Yeah, they're gonna have a field day with that. Good luck, barbecue. Rest in piss.
His cyanoforms are gonna turn into a honey.
Oh, my bad, Vintage.
Yeah, good.
Hey, so I got to answer Vintage because he's asking here. He says, Trench, where do you stand with the P320? I'm genuinely asking. I am super pissed at Sig at this point, mainly because their lack of understanding of what, like, the scope and scale of how things are affecting soldiers on a day-to-day basis, contractors, Marines, you name it, dude, and cops, right? The scale of people that don't trust their weapon is insane. And even though I've won competitions with their guns, now I legitimately despise Sig. I think, kind of like what Ben was saying in one of his videos was, they're bad people, they sell bad products, and they have bad intentions. So that is where I stand on Sig.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious that they put the dollar above, which, I mean, most companies do, but I think to a more egregious level, they put the dollar above the safety of their consumer base, basically.
Yeah.
And then you combine all the military contracts on top of it, and it just hits a little different,
Is this just a more sophisticated version of coin clipping?
Brother, you're bringing up coin clipping on this stream. We're not ready.
Oh shoot!
Don't worry about it. We're fine. So this is just a little. I always get this question: what about the models that have a manual safety? So there's this thing called sympathetic movement with certain models of P320, and I know 3 P320s in a trench coat. They showed a video of how to reduce Sear movement by literally cutting off the rear leg of the Sear on your P320, which is wild to me that, just take your P320 apart and Dremel it to fix a problem is a little wild. But
no longer.
I did want to show this section of the video. So it's going to be, where is it? Somewhere right up here. So basically, he has the safety model of a P320. I think it's an X5 of some sort. And even with the safeties in the on position, if he fiddles with the trigger, he can get the striker safety to disengage.
But if you'll pay close attention, the amount of tolerance there is between the safety and the trigger bar, you might be able to see if I can hold this steady enough. That, just to the right of the Sear, the trigger safety disconnector moves a little bit even with the safety on. See that?
Wow.
So it lifts up with the safety on. Fiddling with the trigger defeats your striker safety. Congratulations. So
it's
now you have
suggestion,
it is safety suggested. True. Now again, keep in mind that that's a totally different problem than the striker safety being damaged or the spring being damaged. That's completely separate. So that's another area where you can get your P320 to magically go off. Now here is specifically the 3 P320s in a trench coat video where they show sympathetic movement short. So we'll look at this before we get into the main course.
I thought this was a red herring. Turns out this is a place where we actually can start talking about stacking tolerances. All right, this is a 45 10 mil takedown safety lever inserted into or misconfigured into what is otherwise a 9 mil FCU, 9 mil configured pistol, grip frame, everything. This is to experiment with what LFD research has finally actually proven can cause some striker slippage. And basically this takedown safety lever will not move forward unless I pop this slide catch lever. It can, however, still move forward just enough because it is different. This central stud is different on this new takedown safety lever than it is on my old takedown safety lever from 5 years ago. This takedown safety lever is allowed to move forward just enough that the Sear rises back up into the path of the striker. Now, on LFD Research's FCU, this Sear striker contact was so light that he could shake it off and it would release the striker. My pistol will not do that. I have shaken it, I have twisted it, I have hit it. It will not release the striker, even in this misconfiguration that has been proven on other pistols.
So I do want to be clear as well with LFD research, because I still talk to Matt over there a little bit, and they're doing a entirely deep dive on each specific parts change over the different models. So they have, I think, 6 or 7 different years now of pistols, and they're trying to do a breakdown of all of the different parts changes. Oh my gosh. Trench, there's somebody there with you. They got a skin mask on, but lots of different problems.
To release the striker. But one of the key points that they made was to check your striker safety lock to make sure that it's functional, because that is the last line of defense if your Sear drops off. Remember what all of my research has been focused on: what can cause sympathetic activation of the safety lever and therefore deactivation of the striker safety lock when you don't want it to be deactivated. Well, Sear movement can do that in certain cases. I also demonstrated some mitigating factors, right? Well, my FCU normally demonstrates one of those mitigating factors, except in this misconfiguration, no.
So you see what this is basically doing is that without the trigger being pulled, if the Sear drops, it is lifting up, which it looks strange if you don't know what you're looking at, but the striker or the safety plunger in the FCU lifts up to push up on the striker safety. So as he's pushing on the Sear, at the exact same time, there is sympathetic movement in the safety plunger, which then deactivates the striker safety, which should not be happening at the same time, right? And so this is another internal issue in this specific configuration. The problem is that there are quite literally 3.5 million different configurations that your pistol might be in.
It doesn't.
You know that
a misconfigured
the
FCU
number,
like.
Oh, I was going to say the number is not 0 of guys that will see this. Let's just guess and say, how many average viewers do you get on a live stream focus? Like
live viewers or
just total?
10,000, 8 to 10,000 on an average stream.
So let's say 500 dudes see this that carry it at work or are carrying it right now, you know, in the guard shack, whatever, right? A lot of dudes see these videos and that scope just expands, right? And then they're going to go tell somebody. So I think that's the only issue, right? Is guys are going to see this and now they have no confidence. That's the only smart thing GBRS has ever put out on their channel was, when you say things on your channel, it does have an impact, right? So if you say, oh, all Sigs suck, a dude, some private, some cop, whoever, it now is going to look at that gun different and think, I have no even though mine hasn't failed, I have no confidence in it. I think that's the biggest issue that I have with Sig right now is like, dude, can you all just do something? Even if it's a facade, hey, put in this other whatever, you know, component for the FCU, do something, right? Because so many dudes are carrying the gun right now and like, this thing's a bomb according to Protraban, Trench, Focus, whoever, right? And
hey, I never said it was a bomb. It's Possibly.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
It's just a pistol that might explode.
As most pistol. No,
Do not come. Do not come.
The only pistol that I support the Israeli carry for.
Yeah, that's right. According
The
to
wrong
Sig, that's
Cohen
been
carry.
Ooh, the Cohen carry model. That's good.
Oh, boy.
So before we get into the official opinion on the P320,
Let's fucking go.
which has some
28
very.
minutes of Pope.
We will not make it through all 28 minutes. We're going to skip around a little bit because there's about 15 minutes in the middle that are very questionable. As in they just don't have much to do with anything. So we'll watch the beginning and then we'll skip around a little bit. I have timestamps written down. But you can watch the video in full from the Sig Armor, who has worked on about 10,000 P320s at this point. And he's run into some other issues with them, and he's going to make some silly recommendations. But before we do that, I'm going to get through all the super chats that we have so real fast. Huge ass for 199 says, "Gay." Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Huge ass for 199.
I think you forgot a couple Y's, so it actually is not spelled properly.
Well, if you want to scream gay into the microphone to give him the full service for 199, be my guest.
Your chat will save that forever, and every time I come on, they will play it.
That is
become a
true.
soundbite on
It'll be
the screen.
It'll be the gay tower. Charles Chuck for $2 says, "Was Richard edging again? Is that why we're late?" No, Richard was thrown up, so he's not feeling too well. So I hope he's feeling a little better, getting some rest.
Hate to hear.
Thank you for the $2. Yeah, you hate to see it. Coral Weezer 21 for 199 says, "Who invited Burger Andy?" I don't even. Who's Burger Andy?
Yeah, which one of us?
Burger Andy.
I'll take the hit, guys. His chat loves me. I'll take the hit.
I don't know, Trench. I don't get as much hate here, and I don't know why.
You're not
I don't
Trench.
know. What is this?
I
You're
am
the
the
one choosing
villain
hate.
of the chat. They must hate me. It is
They
mandatory.
really like to. This is apparently Burger Andy. Oh, I guess that is
Oh,
Trench.
it's definitely.
Oh,
Yeah,
what
sweet
the
Trench.
heck?
That's Burger Andy.
What the hell?
Hold on,
Thank
let me
you.
see. Let me see.
Oh,
I
sorry,
can
sorry,
see
yes,
it.
Let me bring it back. This is Burger Andy apparently.
No, that's me.
Yeah, it's
That's
That's the body scan of French.
Oh,
That's
that's
me.
Oh, that's opposite world. Trench. Thank you for the 199 Coral Weezer. Huge ass for 499 says, "Why does Trench sound like he gargles Glock sauce all day?" Ugh.
local guy from being a instructor.
Yeah.
Do not
Yeah, I was
come.
gonna say-
Do not come.
I was like, Trench actually yells at people for a living, which every time I have a conversation with him, I'm like, he's just always nice and chill, right? But then I'm like, oh no, he yells at people.
How much money do you make off of me being the most hated character?
It's too much to count. The numbers aren't
Thousands of
in yet.
dollars.
I'm gonna start.
No, I think it's actually Sig and then Trench Grenade right below that.
Do a community poll. You need to do a community poll. Which do we hate more?
Ooh, okay. Who do we get? Who do we? Shoot.
I win that every day of the week and twice on Sunday. This chat hates
Dude,
me.
I
and
wish-
I love it.
Hey, YouTube, your multi-billion-dollar company, could you make your dashboard work for streaming? That'd be awesome. It just crashed on me again.
Asking too much.
Okay, let me try. Poll here. Sig. Okay. Remove one from existence.
Damn.
In its entirety or Trench.
Just straight to 11.
Well, hold on. If they remove me, they don't have anyone to meme. But if they remove Sig, they don't have anybody to ultimately.
No, you're gonna
hate.
lose handily. It's Sig's at 75%, bro. So
I'm
I think
voting for
it's really
Trench.
it's really just a couple actors that make it worse.
Serviceman moment.
Mitzvot TV for 499 says, "I make a penny, the owner makes a dime. That's why I should on company time." Play-Doh or
The
something.
boss makes $1, I make a dime. Whatever.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. But I understand. So thank you very much for the 499.
This is the
Mitzvot,
old
hope you're doing
version.
well. I actually
Unadjusted
just
PlayStation.
uploaded a video shooting your upper with the Sig Romeo 4T Pro on it, and that's going to be on the Gun.Deals channel this week, hopefully. As in like tomorrow. Subarctic Psycho for $5 says, "Trench doesn't wipe back to front or gosh dang it.
Oh,
Or front to back. He
Oh,
whoa,
man.
whoa,
Whoa,
Subarctic
whoa,
Psycho.
whoa.
Hold on, hold
whoa, whoa.
Hold on.
Happy International Women's Day?
Do not come.
There you go. That's actually a cool sticker. I like that one. The Light Spore for 1488. Ah, jeez. At my Ellie instructor school, a lady cop unironically off-duty carried a Sky 9. No. Was it in baby blue? If you're still in the chat,
pink,
the Light Spore.
Women.
Was it baby blue, or was it a colored sky?
I don't hate Tiffany blue.
A sky of color. I don't know how to say it.
I just
Thank you very
realized-
much for 1488.
Hey, maybe it will jam and she won't shoot an innocent. Okay, we never know.
Guys,
and
taser. Click.
When are you guys dropping your Kuno review like every other gun tuber in the past 2
I hopefully
days?
never have to shoot one.
Correct.
I know.
The what?
It's the new Springfield
Springfield garbage.
Literally
Nature's products
every
roller
gun
pin
tuber.
delayed.
Yeah, literally every gun tuber.
Oh,
Everybody in the
NDA's
school.
up. Everybody upload at the exact same time.
Meanwhile, Protraband is looking at 9mm from like 30 years ago, 40 years ago. Gosh.
Yeah, nobody's sending me anything, I promise.
if my
Other than cease and desist, I'll send you plenty of those. An Axegrind for $2 says the trench hate is wildly misplaced. Agreed. I don't know. I think it's just a meme at this point. I don't think anyone actually hates trench. I think it's just a meme at this point.
I have seen our channels have like the what is it? We grew up in the 2 circles. Our channels. A lot of our audience, they will hate on me, and then they'll go over to your channel and hate on you, or whatever, vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So most of the guys are in my Discord too and are memeing, but it's funny to watch it anyway in real time for them to be like,
it's just fun at this point. We just we need to play up the beef and then have it.
I think we should do a
showdown.
We should do a competition. I think we should do it. It'd be fun.
You're the heel,
Trench is just playing the heel.
You guys got to do
huge
the
ass for
Wendy's
199.
4
Yeah, that's it.
I don't want to eat that much food that fast. Huge ass
Too
for
bad
199
I did.
says Trench moans when he eats corn on the cob. Maybe it's just that good. Okay, maybe it's just
I'm
really
so
good
fucking
corn.
good at shucking that corn, dude.
Trench, do you
Hold
eat
on,
it the
stop.
long way?
Pause. Stop that.
The long way. Rifles First says, remember those Blackhawk pants with the built-in tourniquets? They should bring those back and include them with every 320. Bro, if those is that real? Blackhawk sold pants with built-in tourniquets? If that's real, I need to get one for the 320 video and just wear them throughout the video as a meme.
Yeah, don't they also have those
Blackhawk
shirts that
tourniquet
have them built
pants.
in as well?
I have to look this up now. That's wild.
In the early days, the Ukrainians couldn't afford cat tourniquets, so they used cravats.
Yes.
So we taught them to tie a cravat on every limb, so that way when they got hit, you just tighten it, because they didn't have cat tourniquets, and then they would apply another tourniquet if they had time. So that could be you, Focus, during your testing. You just have cravats on every
on all
limb.
4 limbs.
Just tourniquets everywhere. Be wearing like 20 tourniquets during the video.
According to your chat, I like to wear one around my neck because I'm gay. According to your chat, right?
You see, you're giving them ideas now. They're gonna
Don't
say
clip
it
it.
now.
Don't clip it.
Jay Lewis for
Too late,
$5 says, I got an Apex trigger kit for my MRP 2.0. It's stupid. It's disgusting. I put my manual safety back in. I love it. Yeah, I heard the Apex trigger kits are good. That's what I have on my Glock too. I like the shoe. I think it's one of the best ones. Jonathan Glimmer Pacone, hope you're having a wonderful night, sir, says, Trench, you are an expendable asset, same as the M7. Yeah.
Brother, I've known that for like 13 years now.
Yeah, I don't know how much they care about the individual soldier. And I mean, to the pencil pushers, they don't actually care if the XM7 is good or not. It's, they get paid one way or the other.
Some of you may die, but that's a risk I'm willing to take.
I need to get that meme.
But it's actually funny. Why would they waste so much money on such an expensive rifle for an expendable asset? You know what I mean? $4,000.
Sure. Well, but again,
it makes.
I don't
it
even know
look
if they
like you're
care
doing
though.
Something.
Right. Yeah. It's like, well, we have to spend the money, so we're going to spend the money. And if some of us get a job at Sig after we retire because of this, fantastic.
Allegedly.
Bamani Igloo for 5 says state issued Israeli yentas with a big Khazar milkers win. State sponsored Abby Shapiro girlfriend. If I email Ron Cohen about my request, do you think he could assist? No. Probably not rich enough for that. 6 hour 49 says Trench sounds like he has a low in his throat. Sig does not like Trench. Unbelievable. They've turned. Unbelievable, Sig. Thank you very much for the $4.99, Sig. Chuck McGill for $4.99 says, Trench, stop ignoring me, kitten. You will be my slave. Also, Focus, did you see that BNT is suing Surefire? Love the stream and more end towers, please. Is BNT suing Surefire over the suppressor mount thing?
They are.
Yes.
Interesting. I will have to look into that. The deepest inside of you. I don't know. I'd have to look into that. I haven't heard anything about that. So I bet I can debate all 6 of you and win. I doubt it, sir. He was posting some really corny Sig cope in the comments. So if you want to hop on and try it, sir, you're welcome to.
I bet you
Do we
can't.
have God's strongest Sig in
Sig
sympathizer
defender.
in chat?
That's not
True.
true. The next gentleman's video that we're about to review, go to his comment section. That is a gold mine of fun. You will be in there for hours, dude.
Speaking of cheaper and faster, Trench can be met in the middle stall of the I-95 Loves truck stop in 90 minutes. Ah, Sig Sauer for $4.99. That's just rude. Who the heck is... I'm getting a spam call right now. I hope it's not some lawyer company telling me to stop streaming.
Anyway, that would be priceless. Put it on speakerphone after.
No, I don't know what that is. I'm not taking that. Who knows what they're going to say. Thank you very much for the $4.99. Thank you, Jazz.
On the stream.
That would be fun. I think he's going to release his P320 video and say the exact same thing as LFT defense. But you know what's funny is I guarantee you he won't mention me. If he mentions LFT, he ain't going to mention me. Huge Ass for $4.99 says P320, a design so good they didn't use it on the P365 or anything else ever again. Very true. And I stole that comment earlier as a joke because I saw it go by. So thank you very much, Huge Ass.
I figured you did, but I didn't want to say anything.
Yeah, I saw it. And
right now,
this will be good.
That dude's like, son of a bitch.
He paid me and I stole his joke, dude. That's just rude. 6 hour for $4.99 says, looks like Trench staying at NTAX again tonight. Oh, Trench, you were watching the NTAX stream last night,
dude,
right?
I think I texted you because about 15 minutes into the rage bait, I was like, wait a second. This dude is a literal child. And I texted you. I think I said, like, he's a baby or something because... What did they say? He was 21 or 22?
23, I think is what
his mental acuity was like a 17-year-old. It was what it seemed like. You know what I mean? It was embarrassing. And I kind of wish Vintage would have collected himself a little bit more and just let the kid kind of run his course a little bit because chat was roasting him.
I let him go for a while. I let him just ramble for quite a while for quite a few times.
Bones, you could have dunked on this dude when he was like, well, you haven't let me talk. I wanted Bones to be like, boom, boom,
Yeah.
Pull up the receipts.
He yells for 10 minutes and then goes, I can't get a word in.
I was trying to be neutral, and my favorite part of it was he would say something for 10 minutes, and then Vintage would go, and he would go, shut the fuck up. Stop talking. It's my turn to talk. And I'm like, dude, like, you're talking the whole time. It's okay.
I think if you go back and look at that, I think that Vintage talked maybe 20% of the time. I think that's probably fair. And Cody for $2 says, here's $2 for the Ron Cohen Bathwater Fund. I'm gonna have to hold off on that one, bro. Maybe in his next job though, after Sig, he will go to some bathwater company. I would bring up another story about bathwater, but I think the chat would have a little bit too much fun with it. So we are going to go ahead and get into this dog water video on from bathwater, moving to dog water, straight upgrade. Let's go ahead and talk. Now, this is the Sig Armor. He is a very knowledgeable individual on Sigs. This is his channel. You can go ahead and check them out. He did have a UD report that ended up getting postponed 2 weeks ago. And in those 2 weeks, he went to Sig, to their headquarters, which seems like coincidental timing, I suppose. Interesting enough. But here is the video that we've all been waiting for.
Can I preface this? Focus.
Go for it.
So we're about to probably dunk on this dude a little bit. I just want to be clear. This is just for the memes. I'm sure he means well. He probably doesn't understand what was going to happen after he hit release because of the level of hate on Sig right now. because he put a lot of effort, you can tell, into this video, and he is getting it in the comments. So this isn't personal.
I agree. This isn't personal. He seems like a nice guy. However, he does give us some really good information, and then he blames a lot of end users for the problem. So that's the one area where I have a problem with it, is he starts to blame basically everybody else. So we'll go ahead and hear what he has to say.
Good morning, folks. My name is Robert Burke. I'm with the Sig Armor. Thanks for joining me this morning. I'm going to do something in this video that I have never done before. I'm going to get super serious, and as such, I'm going to sit down. I normally stand, but I'm going to grab this chair right here and have a good seat. Okay. This video is me illustrating my opinion on the P320 pistol. So settle in. I'm going to say things that are kind to Sig, and I'm going to say things that aren't so kind. So let's just dive in. My name is Robert Burke.
Well, he does give us some really good information on Sig quality control around 2018. So I find this incredibly entertaining.
Head gunsmith at the Sig Armor. I've been working on P320 pistols since their inception, since 2014. I see 40 to 50 a week, so that adds up to what, 8 or 10,000 pistols that I've.
Yeah, somebody in the comments said it's probably best to place at about 1.25. I know everybody can still keep up with it, but it is a little bit of a longer video, so this could take some time.
Worked on. We also have our own aftermarket parts that we've been developing since 2018.
Oh, and also he put a correction. He does not mean 40 to 50 per week. He means 40 to 50 per month that he works on. So over the last 12 years, though, that is still tens of thousands of pistols, or many thousands of pistols.
More than one a day.
Correct. It's a lot of pistols that this guy sees, works on, and fixes. So when it comes to the problems that he's seen with the different pistols, I believe him 100%.
18 for both the P series and the P320 pistol. Let's start with disclaimers. What you're watching is for entertainment purposes only. The opinions and views expressed in this video are of mine only, Robert Burke, and do not necessarily represent the views of the Sig Armor, Sig Sauer, or any other entities mentioned. Once again, this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please don't mess with your gun. Let's get right into the timeline for the P320. Came out in 2014. Everybody knows about the drop problem. If you dropped it at just the wrong angle, basically 30 degrees, the mass of the trigger combined with the mass of the striker allowed it to fire. However, the upgrade, which was issued just directly after that, fixed the drop problem. And I do want to touch on that real quick. We haven't had, that I can find, any drops where the gun is dropped on the ground and goes off since the upgrade happened. And that is important to remember, because I'm going to talk about the upgrade.
He is correct about that as far as I know as well. I don't know if anyone else has anything to say about that, but I correct me if I'm wrong. But the upgrade, quote unquote, didn't happen until 2019.
Well, the first update happened in 2017.
Was it 2017?
So it was, they recalled 125,000 pistols from the Army and gave us new ones. They, instead of having tan controls, they had black controls. They changed out the trigger. They changed out something with the internal safety. I'm not a gunsmith, but yeah, they changed out like 3 or 4 major things, and they fixed the drop safe issue. That was 16 into 17. I was in Fort Riley fielding them, and they took them all back and gave us all new ones. But yeah, the guns are drop safe now. That's the only safety feature they have, allegedly.
Right. The only configuration in which they're safe.
Upgrade, why certain parts of it exist, and how it is effective in keeping the gun safe from a drop. So the drop problem came out. It was fixed by the upgrade. However, the upgrade brought in 1 or 2 additional small problems. The first one being the out-of-battery case eruption problem, which I won't go into in depth because we've already solved it with our Sport disconnector.
So to be clear, nobody is disputing that Sig had a problem with out-of-battery detonations and their barrels, slides, frames blowing up. This is a well-known problem. This has happened many times. It is not just the ammunition. And in fact, Sig Armorers created a fix for the problem. They created a quote-unquote sport disconnector that wouldn't allow it to fire out of battery. So they sell a literal part to fix. So again, this is where I'm like, he's telling you the truth here.
Spitting fast.
But maybe where I would frame that as like, this is horrible. He's like, oh yeah, we just, we had a little fix for that problem. Right. We just saw another video the other day of somebody's, I think it was his M17, M18 going off or blowing up at a range. You posted that, didn't you, Trench?
Yes, Ben posted it, and then I stole it from him, like every P320 video ever. Just one to share it for everybody and for the fun drama that occurs, right? Because it's always fun. But some dude with it looked like a stock M17 with a stock M17 red dot had the gun blow up and. It was an out of battery detonation. It looked like, if I remember correctly from this one.
Well, right. So what happens is it's like 99% of the battery, 95% of the battery.
Yeah, he would have had to tap it.
Right. And so the problem with the design is that at times it can go off when it's not fully in battery. And what happens is the slide blows out, the barrel blows out, your frame blows out, something gets blown, as with most SIG meetings.
Whoa.
However, in the last few months and years, as everybody knows, there's been an uncommanded discharge problem. There's lots of reports online. There's, hey, my hand wasn't on it. Hey, I just got out of the car. There's so many instances that we had to take them all into account. And basically the last 2 nights, I've been watching every bit of videos on YouTube to refresh my memory from the ones I saw last year, just to make sure we weren't missing any piece of evidentiary material. So as soon as we learned about the UD problem, we decided to do our own testing. So here's how
Okay, so I'm going to fast forward and summarize a bit. You guys can watch the full video if you want to, but we are going to skip ahead. Basically, they did everything they could to get one of their P320s to go off. If you watch the video, you can see that their gun has gone through absolutely terrifying things. And it is scuffed up beyond all belief that it's still in one piece, and they couldn't allegedly get one of their guns to go off. So we're going to skip the next 12 minutes of testing right up to about the 15-minute mark. And that's where things start to get a little interesting.
One thing to note for Chad is notice his body language and his speech pattern. He's very nervous. He's talking very slowly and calculated, unless that's just who he is as a person. But he seems very, very nervous making this video.
Yeah, I agree, Trench. And you actually see him break character at the end when he exhales and was like, whew, okay, I got it out. But yeah, I totally agree with you. It feels kind of like a hostage video. I hate to be mean to this guy, but it's giving off weird vibes watching. I agree.
So I get that some people are nervous, especially when they're doing a video like this, because remember 2 weeks ago, he was supposed to come out with his findings, and then in that interim period, the 2-week period, he went to Sig, had meetings with them and whatnot. Also, he works for the Sig Armor, so it is quite literally his livelihood that he's talking about. I understand people being biased or people being apprehensive about losing, financial support for them and their family, right? Now, here is Hal Gwynn, who I believe owns for Callaway Ballistics, or owner, operator, manager of Callaway Ballistics, says, we did a ton of firing with several 320 SIGs. You get striker drag on a huge % of them. They are just waiting to out of battery. Yeah, which is why you see them do that on occasion. Thank you very much, Hal.
On the stacking issue, then you would start with, well, maybe we should avoid 58A and 58B.
Oh, sorry, we have to go back a little further because they talk about specifically which frame models you should ignore or you should try to avoid, because certain frames are known to have certain issues.
Have a lot of tolerance. Parts can indeed have stacking, which will end up, problematic. I can neither confirm nor deny that, but I do want to talk about 2 specific things as they pertain to older SIGs. We get SIGs, P320s, all the way from 58A, which is the original serial number, all the way to 58H or whatever the modern one is now, or 58G. We have had 2 instances in the last 4 years of FCUs that have come in here and the holes were slightly misaligned. And when I mean slightly, I mean a tiny bit. Not to the point where there was anything wrong with the gun, not to the point where there was any failures, but we could measure that the pivot pin hole for the Sear is slightly off. That has happened twice. Once about 5 years ago on a 58A serial number FCU, and another one about 2 weeks ago on a 58B frame. So if you're going to speculate on the stacking issue, then you would start with, well, maybe we should avoid 58A and 58B serial number prefixes, because back then they didn't have the same kind of factory that they have now. And I can only say that.
So this is the best part of the video for me. So the early frames, the first however many hundreds of thousands or million pistols, however many, those ones there might have some more quality control issues because of what we're about to listen to here. This is wild to me.
Serial number prefixes, because back then they didn't have the same kind of factory that they have now. And I can only say that because I toured the factory in 2018 and I toured the factory just a week and a half ago. There was a difference in the quality control that I saw last week versus years ago. In full disclosure, I have to say, when I was there in 2018 on the P320 FCU line, I saw 3 employees sitting on buckets with DeWalt drills reaming the FCU holes. And I'll never forget it because
he was scarred by that.
Yeah, that was in 2018, 4 years after the P320's creation. And you have employees on the QC line just with drills and just hand reaming out frames. That's really cool. That's sitting on buckets, no less. So this looks like
In India.
Well,
In
I mean,
the
he
US,
didn't
that's
specify which
scary.
facility he was in.
No
It's
shit.
wild
There I
to me.
was sitting on my bucket in India.
I worked in the steel industry for about a year. We had a CNC shop section where we were turning out, thousands of parts a day. If one of the managers ever walked back there and just saw somebody reaming out a part with a hand drill that we were going to be sending off to a customer, that person would have been walking out the same day. Like, that to me is hilarious. And this is not prototype models. This is not early iterations. This is 4 years after their introduction, and they're still just hand reaming it out with drills. I mean, if that goes to show the rest of their quality control, very funny.
That is what is getting sold to you.
Well, so what's funny is my model is 2016, 2017, the one that's in the closet. So mine is a hand finished frame.
I was gonna say a hand finished thing.
Yeah.
So you mean you wouldn't do this with your flagship pistol for military trials and adoption? Is what you're saying?
I might not do this on a P80 frame that I made in my garage.
I was gonna say, I feel like we put more care into our PSA dagger test than these guys put into their freaking fielded M17.
You brought it up. You know what? I don't think PSA is hand finishing their dagger frames. Okay, I'm just gonna say it.
But here's the thing.
I think PSA's quality control might be better.
PSA is trash, to be clear, but those 2 PSA daggers that I tested, they ran until they didn't. Let's just put it that way. So,
well, right, but I mean, still, it's a Gen 3 design though. So even if it's crappy parts and manufacturing tolerances, it's still a Gen 3-ish design.
Yeah, the pins are the downfall of that gun. I think Brass Facts, what's his name, regular guy training, and my video all came to the same conclusion that the pins just walk out. It's just not the same Glock design.
Well, you could also be TFB TV, where they shipped him a gun with no pins.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
That's also a configuration.
Why do people buy? Never mind. I know why.
Because they're cheap.
We all know why.
Hey, don't be judging the Sigs, dude.
I'm judging. Well, I'm judging the Sigs.
Bro.
That's pretty good.
Shadow Force. Ouch.
Got him.
I couldn't imagine seeing that inside the Sig Sauer factory. However, nothing of that was evident at the new factory. The new factory is untouchable. I mean, not only have they automated and optically sorted each process as much as they could, but they have after check.
Because remember, he was in the Sig factory 10 days ago. So in between his last video and now, he's been back to the Sig facility for some.
You mean?
When the company gave me a tour, they only showed me the good stuff.
I was gonna say, you mean the air-conditioned conference table made out of walnut? Perfect.
Yeah.
Everything's perfect with military arms channel sitting there in the cuck chair.
In the other room, there's still a bunch of.
What's funny is, so if they ever offered me a tour, I'd be like, send me to shipping and receiving. That's all I want to see. Send me to shipping and receiving, because I know what's in those boxes. All right.
Check processes, so they'll have a machine that runs 6 units at a time on a certain pass, a certain cut, and then they'll take that out, put it in a fixture, and then no-go all the holes. So I'm very confident, basically based on what I saw and what I see here on the bench, that the modern P320 FCUs are very, very good. However, I can't say that about 58A and 58B frames. They are.
The first 4 years of production models, maybe not.
New ones are good.
Because again, it's that there's like a million of them floating around.
Now there's 3.5 million.
Well, but even if we're saying the new ones are good,
Right.
2014 to 2018 is a long time to make pistols.
Also, he said he tests every hole, so he always tests every hole.
Always test every
Phrasing.
hole for
Test all
quality
the holes.
assurance.
Bones always tests every. No.
Oh,
Okay.
He fumbled. He
All right.
fumbled right at the
Grab it,
finish
check it
line.
out.
He fumbled.
No, but in all seriousness, we don't know how many versions of the P320 there are after how many stealth upgrades they've done without
Yeah.
saying anything to anybody. So
well, he's gonna talk about it in just a second. So,
Oh, well.
because there's some other parts changes that he's gonna be like, yeah, did you know in the early days they had this part that used to break? Wild.
Yeah, you hear
Anyways.
that, Bones? Focus is telling you to shut the fuck up, Bones.
Wasn't even
58
me.
That was me.
They are. If you have one, grab it, check it out, maybe even compare it to a new one. You'll see just from the outside that there is a little bit of a finish difference, a little bit of construction difference, manufacturing differences between those two. However, the bigger thing to check when you have a 58A or 58B gun is the striker safety block or striker safety lever. I have two of them here that are broken. These came in a couple of years ago from one client. Now that one client happens to be Max Michel, and he puts way more rounds on guns than you and I do. And I should say the gun still worked when it came in. Just because the safety lever was broken, the gun absolutely worked just fine.
So to be clear, people always asking, where are the pictures of the broken safeties? Where are the pictures of the broken safeties? Here are two broken striker safeties that are MIMD parts, by the way, that are prevalent in the early models. Now, as he mentions, this is from a high volume shooter. I'm not sure whether he's competition or training guy, but much like some of the other blow-ups that we've seen happen, Genghis Khan comes to mind, also a competition shooter who shoots a lot of ammo through his pistols. So yeah, it can be a high round count issue where these things might break or have issues later on in their life. So like somebody buys a P320, puts 500 rounds through it and says, oh, it's good to go. Not really that relevant, right?
Apparently, the average gun owner only shoots 50 rounds their entire life, or some crazy statistic. I don't remember where I heard that from, but most people don't even shoot their guns at all. Come to find
And
out,
that's true. If you look at like the normie sphere of firearms owners, most people are going to buy a gun and maybe shoot a box through it a year, maybe every 6 months. So
I think that's pretty accurate. Or they only shoot when they get together with other people who shoot. Like if I go shoot with my brothers, it's probably the last time that they were shooting is when they were also shooting with me. Right. That's just how it goes sometimes. Right.
Yeah.
But here are two broken striker safeties from one client.
Fine.
Oh.
So here's that lever right here. And you can see it's missing this part right here. Here's the other one right here. You can see it's missing this part right there.
See, they both broke off. And that is the lever that supposedly stops the striker from going forward. That is your last line of defense to save you. And if it's broken, well, it ain't doing too much to help you out, bro.
Ooh.
Well,
now, pay attention. You can see that the side...
Yeah. Reno May says Max Michel is a top pistol shooter. And again, you're going to see more problems in people who shoot more often. So that checks out.
that is pocketed, and it has numbers on it, which would be indicative that it's an MIM part. So this is the one part on the gun where they really can't MIM it, and they found out because they broke. So if you're really concerned about your gun and you want to do something proactive, check your serial, see if you have an older one. But more importantly, take your striker out, or rather, have a professional take your striker assembly out and inspect the safety lever. If it's MIM, I do suggest replacing it. Now, let's go to the Sear test. I showed you this. Let me check my notes here. Okay, I went over the results and I went over the clamping effect. So the Sear test, what it proves to me is that our working theory of basically the striker sitting right at the edge of the Sear and perching itself, and then some sort of jostling, allowing it to go past, it had to have a function of pushing the Sear down. As I showed you, without pushing the Sear down, the safety lever cannot be defeated. And as such, this Sear test to me proves, or rather disproves my theory altogether, because the system just does not work as they have suggested. And we've illustrated that here. So now let's move on to the 4-facet Sear perch that just came out. Of course, I had to test that ad nauseum for the last couple of days. And it's a neat test. I mean, It's a lot like buying a new Corvette, taking out the ABS, putting in the brakes from a Volkswagen, deliberately driving it into a ravine.
Incorrect and very disingenuous, sir. It's like changing parts on a gun that are designed to be interchangeable. Like that's kind of the point of the P320 being a modular chassis gun, is buying different frames and slides and slapping them all together. So no, it is not. It is not like taking parts from a Corvette and a Volkswagen and smashing them together. It's like taking parts from a Corvette and a Corvette and smashing them together and then blowing up on you. That's exactly what it's like. So I don't agree with your analogy, sir.
And then calling Chevrolet and saying, see, I told you there was something wrong. The fact that we have to do this test, or that someone did this test in order to dispel it, or not dispel it, to confirm that it is a thing, is really disturbing, because you have to F with your gun in 4 different ways, and that's just...
Again, you have to F with your gun in exactly one way. Take it apart, put it back together. Pretty normal stuff.
Plain stupid. However, there was a really good outcome from that video, and you'll notice when he is pointing off into the sawgrass, he pulls the slide back, finger off the trigger, he lets it go, and what happens there is, as the slide is coming to close, the Sear is being held down by that 10 millimeter, takedown safety lever. As such, when it comes to close, the Sear comes in and perches. The striker comes in and perches on the Sear just long enough to be compressed. That kinetic force of the compression, the movement of the slide, holds it together. And then as soon as the slide stops, then it goes forward. And what we found, as well as other people have found, is the only way to make this a problem, or rather to discharge, is to break and or remove the safety lever or safety lever spring. And this is critical information to me, because the only way for my previous theory to work is for when the striker gets past the Sear, it has to magically push it down, like a lot. As you can see, quite a lot. But what we found through this test and through the video is that there's no Sear movement.
3x5 card for literally a millisecond.
Well, he shows it off earlier, so I'm not gonna give him too much crap for that.
Well, he says he's been studying this for or doing this for weeks, if not months, right? So the fact that he has this little 3x5 card as this product is hilarious. Like, download a Splice app or something and do some sort of product, at least, if this is your massive, life's work that you've been, the culminating event, if you will.
So Reno says it's like taking the disconnect out of an AR FCG and then being surprised that it has hammer follow/runaway. No, it would be like taking an AR trigger out of an AR, putting it in another AR, and then being like, why is it going full auto now? Because again, not only do they look identical, it is also designed to go in that frame, and it is up to Sig to make sure that people don't accidentally do this by making some sort of keyhole gateway to make sure that a 10 millimeter FCU can't get in a 9 millimeter 357 or 40 cal frame or some other measure there. And again, the other problem that this doesn't even take into account is that they've made a bunch of stealth updates throughout the years to try and mitigate this issue without telling anybody. So they knew that this was a possible issue that could occur, and also important to remember that this can happen from the factory, and that was one of the allegations of mislabeled parts. Ooh. So again, it's taking a different part and putting into this. I don't buy any of those analogies. And that's what ends up happening.
Oh,
and again, I don't think this analogy works anyway, because most people only own one P320.
I don't even know if that's necessarily true. I know people like LFD, they own 6 between the two of them, between Matt and Matt.
Sure. So, well, they're gun. I'm thinking like the officer that got issued his handgun, right? Like he's not messing around with that FCU. He's not throwing it around between 6 different guns.
If it's department issued, parts could get swapped out by the armor too.
That's also very true too, because you're having different people handle the fire, and which is also might explain some of the military issues as well. And again, the other allegation is that it's factory mislabeled or misinstalled, which is why they went from a batch QC testing to a individual part QC testing.
Not even that. Focus. What if I told you, Chad? What if I told you that a incompetent executive officer, first lieutenant, could accidentally order 210 millimeter FCUs rather than say 9 millimeter, because a officer doesn't understand it's one number different on the NSN. Next thing you know, you have them, they look the same, they function the same, or so you think, and you're told by the Army they're compatible because it's a modular system. So what do you do as a soldier, right? As an officer? You just tell your guys they're compatible. You throw them in, and guess what? You have a couple months later, boom,
Right.
in the holster. So that is literally how fast it can happen. Because we order slings that way, allegedly. We order foregrips that way, allegedly, from Magpul. And that is allegedly how you could order anything with a property book officer, allegedly.
Mhm.
Allegedly.
And so Rena May comes in and says, I think the manufacturer assembling them wrong is significantly more of a concern than me buying the wrong part. And so I think that is also correct. And that's also mostly the allegation. But we're just saying how this could, in theory, happen. Like, for instance, I bought my P320 used without any prior knowledge of a P320. And so if I took that gun apart and looked at it, I would have zero knowledge just by looking at it that this gun had the wrong FCU in it. Because again, I bought it used, right? So I have no idea what's in there whatsoever. So I think that this can happen to just about anyone.
Downward, other than just enough to let the striker pass, which means that every time you try this experiment, but with an intact safety lever, you will get no fire whatsoever. Okay, let's move on. What we believe is causing the problem. Okay, I believe it's light-bearing holsters. Let's start there. When you have a light...
This is it. This is my Super Bowl. This is it.
It's the holster. It's the officer.
Hold on, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it for chat. Let chat experience this like it's their first time.
All right. I need a
gay.
All right, chat. You got to experience this like it's the first time.
Experience it like a virgin for the first time.
Oh, that's
I believe
part of the
it's
video.
light-bearing holsters. Let's start there.
It's the lights.
When you have a light-bearing holster, you have a huge opening right next to, or right around the trigger guard and trigger. And this allows all sorts of items to get in there and cause havoc with the trigger itself. I think that is what's most likely happening here, is that someone's clothes are getting in there, or debris, or in the case of the officers in the vestibule, the guy leans over, the other officer's keys get into the opening. As he stands up, the keys pull the trigger. So the light-bearing holster is a huge problem, specifically with larger lights. I think in the future, we really should have smaller lights that are the width of the trigger guard, so that there's not a big opening.
I like smaller lights because the big ones hurt, or something like that.
Now this is the big hole. Focus. This is huge, dude.
That's so. I mean,
it's the most
I understand that fingers can definitely actuate triggers inside of a holster, right?
That's
so I
huge.
think that definitely can happen. I think debris can certainly get inside. I have my holster.
Everybody grab a holster. See how many.
Trigger job. So I mean, like it could happen, right? It can happen that something could maybe get into that big old hole that I got working with right there.
It's a big hole.
It's possible, you know, and I'm sure that it has happened many times. GBRS has a great high-speed video of it happening somehow right after of the very similar event happened somewhere else to try and disprove the issue. So it is certainly possible. And also, I would never rule out user error, as that's, you know, the first thing most people would point to. But to blame it all on Safariland and big light-bearing holsters
and Surefire.
And Surefire too. Yeah, I don't know, man.
No, it's big holster.
I don't know.
It's big holster.
It's not the gun. It's big holster.
Big hole holster problems, bro.
The problem with this series is it doesn't set off any other gun. Like if this was a thing that holsters could do,
I'm just saying. I don't know. Yeah, lots of people do. I just haven't seen as many people of the last 20 years complain about Glock light bearing holsters.
Some guys like the bigger hole. Focus.
Some guys need the bigger hole trench. Moving on.
I did not have this on my Monopoly card.
I mean, this is Shadow 4 CB says, funny how these holsters only affect the P320. Listen, man, it's always somebody else. Okay, the P320 didn't do nothing.
Holster didn't do nothing. The next thing that I'd like to talk about that I think contributes to this is outdated training or outdated technique. I just don't feel like it's safe to index. Put your finger right next to the trigger, and keep in mind the only way your finger can really move is towards it. I don't like indexing the trigger as you're headed toward the holster. It'll hit that hole, go in there, and without you even knowing it, it's possible to pull the trigger. So I think in the
Has he gotten to the flying? Sorry, I was distracted by
Hold on.
Reno's comment.
This is Protraband's key line coming up. Protraband's key line is coming
Future, we
up.
really should consider some changes to the holstering technique. Specifically, I think the best thing to do is do a flying trigger finger.
Boom.
I do not believe in any way there's a reason for your finger to be on the gun while you're holstering. I like to fly.
Say it, Protraband.
What?
Say it.
She fly on my finger till there's discharge. What?
Oh, no. I was not ready for that.
I wasn't ready for that either. He went so far.
You know, so here's the thing. So you can blame it. You can blame it on a light bearing holster and a finger in the trigger all you want, but that does not do anything to dissuade the Genghis Khan incident, in which he was at a match and the start position was hands above head, right? Hands at temples, basically. Gun in a non-light bearing holster next to him, and the gun goes off, right? So you can blame it on a light bearing holster. You can blame it on a finger on the trigger. However, that does not address any of the concerns in the Genghis Khan video.
Or the Marines discharge, or the Marcy Vednais discharge, or XYZ. Take your pick.
Correct. So you can probably get away with a few of these and blame keys and blame the holster, but you can't get rid of all of them. And so that's the problem, right? That's what we're trying to get at. It's like let's knock out half the P320 discharges that are alleged, right? But what about the last half, right? That's what I'm actually interested in. And if at this point you say, actually, you know what? There has never been an issue with the P320, I think it's straight cope. Just straight cope. I think there are logical conclusions to be made that accidents happened in assembly, manufacturing, parts. As we even see in this video, we see multiple broken MIM strikers. We see people sitting on buckets reaming out FCUs. Reaming up frames.
Hell yeah.
In 2018, 4 years after they were made, I have a pre-2018 P320 with a non-drop safe trigger, which also they definitely admitted to that one because they had to, and they had to recall 125,000 pistols or whatever it was, right? And then we see, if you look at the LFD video and some of the stuff that they shared on our stream, you can take a look at the different striker safeties over a period of, I think, 7 different years, and some of the parts switch between MIM'd and stamped and milled and all sorts of different fun stuff. Now, also, allegedly, Sig doesn't make all of their parts, and not just the parts that are made in India.
Alleged. I think it's...
Well, right. We know that India makes some of their parts, right? We know that. But also, different people manufacture their suppressors, and different people manufacture different components within their FCUs. So Sig ain't making all their own stuff because Sig has got to fill out a lot of contracts. Sig's volume has not always been up to par. So then they third party the stuff to somebody else. And maybe those parts that are made in a hurry aren't necessarily always up to stuff. So there are a lot of contributing factors. And again, you might be able to get rid of some of the discharges. You can't get rid of all of them.
100%
the whole
American
situation
made.
reminds me of like a much worse version of what happened with the L198, the sniper rifle, the fucking precision rifle that the military put this contract out. The dudes threw it together in their garage or whatever, and it had all these problems. All right, it reminds me of that, but so horrendously worse and by a much larger company. And
Well, in the Accuracy International, that gun was actually good.
yeah, well, yeah,
And they actually cared about making a good gun.
Yeah,
They had to do some janky stuff to get the contract, but the jankiness was just in getting the contract. Once they got it, they were squared away.
Deepest thinks that this is a damage control stream. No, this is us making fun of a damage control video, good sir. Like this is nothing to us. This is just silly. This is funny.
No, it's the holsters and it's your trigger finger.
Well, that's not
the
true.
only explanation.
Deepest,
It
you're
happens to
actually
blocks
onto
all the
something.
time.
Deepest is onto something because there used to be discharges going off. How did you get the discharges to start going off, Bones?
What do you mean? The discharges
The
stopped going
ones
off?
near your face, man.
Goodness.
What are you talking about?
Stop it.
What is
we
talking about?
We got to move along, sir. We got to move along, sir. This is
not cut
Wendy's.
Right away. I've always done it like that. I've never understood why people wanted to have their finger that close. All right. The other thing I think that is contributing to this is reholstering haste. I know you've all been there. You've been at a match and you got the guy who shoots or he loads and he just frickin' stabs at it. Like he's looking off this direction. He's like, no, it'll get in there. Oh, that is so frustrating to me. We've got to take more care in holstering a pistol. You've got to slow down, clear your garment, make sure there's nothing in your working area, which is the area around your holster. You need to visually look into your holster. You need to fly away the trigger finger and slowly rock the gun into place.
So to demonstrate, the modern technique is to visually stare at it, fly the finger, right, ring finger, and then slowly rock it into position, afraid if it's going to go off the entire time. Now, with the Sig P320, I might be afraid that it's going to go off the entire time. But with this is like modern Fuddler, basically. This is how you reholster a gun, Sonny. Slowly moves it down into position.
I mean, I'm not a fan of speed reholstering. Like that
well,
is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, people don't need to speed reholster,
Yeah.
but the over consciousness where it's like get the finger like as far away from the gun as possible and watch and slowly ease it back into the holster. I think we're taking things like way too far. That is modern Fuddler.
If you ever find yourself blaming Surefire, Safariland, the finger, the cop, or the soldier all in one video, you're probably fucking retarded.
And I have seen someone, I've witnessed it happen, someone leave their finger incorrectly indexed on a pistol and shoot themselves. That was a very easy to identify issue. And he wasn't like, it's my gun, guys. The gun went off. You know, it's very clear when that happens. And sure, like, he's got a point, like, you don't need to be super aggressive with the reholstering, but you can do it with any gun, and it doesn't go off.
There's one common denominator between all these incidences. It's 320.
Place. I know that can be tough for LEO who are in dynamic situations, but I think that we've got to slow down the holstering and we've got to change the indexing. It just doesn't make sense to do that anymore. So we have all these instances where the gun has gone off and people say, hey, I didn't touch the trigger. Keep in mind that startle effect is real. I don't know everything.
So this is another funny little cope where he's like, basically, you forgot. The gun went off and then you forgot what happened in the last 3 seconds and you just forgot that you pulled the trigger. I'm like, okay, wild. I have never forgot that I pulled the trigger. Never.
Like even the dude who shot himself that I saw, he knew what he did. He knew exactly what happened when it happened.
Wait a second. So are you telling me he's not entirely correct about this?
There's something's not lining up. Something isn't lining up here. There's too much cope being huffed.
Well, no, we're not banning deep. We're gonna get deep on the stream after we finish this video. And he said he wanted to debate us 6v1, and I think it is very fair to let him come on and speak his piece.
Wait, who is this guy?
I know that
Deep is the deepest inside you or something like that is in the chat, defending Sig till his dying breath. He's doing good.
His boyfriend is here, or
something like that. Siley says if you have to change the rules,
while you're here.
Well, Siley says if you have to change the rules to accommodate a gun, just trash the gun. Maybe.
When you're startled, you tend to do a number of things. First and foremost, the most important being your hands raise, your shoulders raise, your arms raise, and your fingers extend like this. That's the startle effect. So if you had your hand on the gun when it went off, or rather had your finger on the trigger not knowing it, you would immediately pull them off and most likely have no memory of the second or so before that startle. So the startle happens, and then you are basically wiped clean of the memory of, well, was my trigger finger on there or not? And I think that has a huge effect, especially if...
I've never heard of this phenomenon before. So, for instance, the other day I was driving home, 70-mile-an-hour road highway down here in South Dakota, driving, listening to a video, whatever it happens to be, right? Deer jumps out in front of me. Move off to the right, move back to the left. I didn't forget what happened the 2 seconds before me.
I don't know what he's talking about.
And I was like, I was within inches of smoking a deer at 70 miles an hour. Like inches, right?
I don't know. If
very startling, quote unquote. But I didn't forget what happened.
I don't know if he's trying to grasp at straws of like, so there is the auditory exclusion when you're in like a super high stress environment, you will skip things and you won't hear things. That can happen in like a life or death situation. Yes, that can happen to some people.
Sure,
but in
of
most of
course.
these videos,
Well, people's memory in general isn't perfect. But
Yeah.
I've never heard of this specific instance where you dump like you have RAM, right? And it just dumps the last 2 or 3 seconds of what happens. I've never heard of that specific phenomenon.
The only place I have heard it is in a Kalian Noir video where he's doing force on force training and they're trying to drive home a point that he said he fired 3 rounds, but he actually fired 6 or something. That's the only time I've heard of something similar. And again, that's only in like, oh shit, like life or death scenario for some people.
Yeah, I mean, people's memory does funky things in high stress scenarios, but blaming it's weird to say that this happened to everybody, right? It's just saying that everybody that says that that the gun shot themselves, they just forgot that they pulled the trigger or whatnot.
Yeah.
Are you saying that for a well thought out project that he's been working on for weeks, if not months, that this isn't very well thought out?
Just doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense, Focus. How could you? You're defending Sig, Focus.
I'm a big defender, bro.
Are you a
trigger?
Sig?
If people are actuating the trigger while it's going into the holster and then pulling their hands off, they go, well, my hands weren't on it. So the other thing I think is becoming an effect here. Excuse me, I gotta get some coffee.
Yeah, you need it, dude.
Is cover your ass. And I'm not even mad at the people who lie to cover their asses. Not mad at them at all. Because imagine you're a cop. You know, you've only been on there 3 or 4 years. You're not making that much. Your wife is probably out of work because of COVID.
See, this is like talking down to the audience now. Like, I'm fine with you lying. I know you lied. I'm fine with it, though. And I am not above saying that some officers and some individuals definitely did shoot themselves and then decided to blame the gun. That absolutely has happened. It is not in their best interest whatsoever to admit that they did something really stupid that could make them lose their job or get into legal troubles themselves. However, to say that they are, again, all lying and coping just to protect their own interests might be a little bit of projection.
Yeah, and I don't think the videos lie. And let's fully appreciate, too, what our beloved host is saying here. He's saying essentially, if not endorsing, he's saying it's okay to lie to keep your job or to keep your money coming in.
No, he does endorse it. He literally endorses it.
That should X this entire video for anybody.
He has no integrity. This guy has no integrity. He literally says, if your wife isn't working because of COVID, but you're a cop for 3 or 4 years and you lie, you're allowed to lie because you're just trying to make a buck, or his exact words. This dude is a fucking clown. I go back on what I said earlier about attacking him. No, you're right. He has no integrity. No integrity. Fuck this guy.
I like Spaz Guy's PFP. That's fantastic.
What is it?
It's just an edited version of himself.
He did the Grantham
It's
thing
pretty
where
funny.
he made the head really big, the shoes really large, but made his body tiny.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Total derailment. All the
No, you're
excuses
good,
this
homie.
dude's giving are nonsense.
We're almost at the end.
You have all these crazy restraints. You're in a liberal town, so if you admit that you pulled the trigger, it's likely you would lose your job and your family would be on the street. So I'm not even mad at those people because, in my opinion, survival of the fittest, you do what you have to do. But I personally think there's a lot of CYA happening. On top of that, it's possible there's just straight unsurety. Meaning, man, I don't know if my finger was on the trigger or not. I have no clue, whether their memory failed them or the startle effect meant that memory went away. There's just possibly some unsurety involved with these people. And because they want to err on the side of preserving their jobs and their livelihood, which I completely understand, they tend to err on the side of, well, I wasn't touching it. Those are just some of the things I believe that are greatly contributing to the problem. So now you want to ask, okay, what can you do as a consumer to protect yourself from these things? Rather, I can't say the problem exists because I don't believe there's a problem with the P320 pistol.
Wow, there it is. That's wild.
Didn't he just say earlier in the video
I don't
that
get
stuff was breaking? What?
Well, here's what he says in the video, okay? Hey, if your thing has this MIM'd striker safety, you should get that replaced by a quality gunsmith. Also, in 2018, they're reaming out by hand. Also, I've seen multiple of these parts break. Also, there's this one combination of parts that's bad. But there is no problem with the P320.
Yeah.
When he's saying he's okay with cops lying, When he's saying he's okay with cops lying because it's like their livelihoods on the line, he's not talking about cops. He's talking about himself at this point. Like he's a slimy liar.
That's what I got. It was projection, right? He's like, listen, guys, 100%. It's okay to protect your livelihood, but in effect, that's kind of what he's doing. And if we back it up just a couple seconds, he talks like, I don't believe if there is an issue. Sorry, there is no issue.
Yeah. What a goofball.
From these things, rather. I can't say the problem exists because I don't believe there's a problem with the P320 pistol.
He was
Other
showing
things
off
I'm about to list.
parts.
So check for the...
Well, sorry, what was that, Dink?
He was showing off broken parts in this video.
Well,
There's
and
not a
recommending you
problem.
replace
Tank is a
and
feature.
recommending you replace them. And what's funny is he's going to say, literally say, "There's not a problem," and
There's
then
no
he's going to
problem.
go through.
What
He's
about
going to go
that
through all the
drill?
things. He's going to go through all the things that you need to check. So
There's
I
not a
don't believe there's a problem
problem.
with the
Don't
P320
compromise
pistol.
your integrity.
Other than the things I'm about to list. So check for the MIM safety lever, striker safety. If you have that, I would definitely replace it. Consider having your older P320 inspected. Take it to an armor or a gunsmith, have them inspect it. Make sure everything is straight and true, especially if you have a 58A or 58B serial. Do not install parts you're unsure of. A lot of these videos we have going around, people have to mess with their gun. They have to take this out, they have to put that in, they have to take a part out, put the wrong part in deliberately. So avoid that. Do not remove parts from your gun. I mean, I shouldn't even have to say that. Slow down reholstering. Again, pay extreme attention to your holstering technique. Make sure nothing is in there. Make sure nothing's around it. I highly suggest flying the trigger finger as you're going slowly into place. Make sure your garment is pulled away. And then last thing I would do is consider a smaller weapon-mounted light and a fitted holster, because the smaller the light is, or rather the narrower it is, the less likely you are to have a huge opening here.
Them damn spotlights on the bottom of our pistols.
So,
They're causing
and
all these
remember
enemies.
when he talked about earlier, and he acknowledged the issue that the P320 had with out of battery detonations, and then he has a what is it, a connector, the sport disconnector, however you say that, that fixes the Sig out of battery detonation issue, which still happens to this day. So I don't know if there's a way you could frame it to honestly say that the Sig P320 has no issues. Oh, it might be fair to say that the newest P320s have much less possible issues. That might be fair to say with all the parts changes and updated QC, stuff like that. That might be fair to say, where I might even be confident with a quote unquote new Sig pistol. However, I just don't want to give Sig my money, right? So, I mean, that could be true. The P320, the new ones, could be good to go, could be mostly fine in their factory configuration. However, I just don't want to give them any of my money. And I don't think it's worth investing in 2025.
I would agree.
And here in your holster. Okay, in summation, I don't believe there's anything wrong with the P320 pistol as it exists right now. It's possible that the older ones could have had something to contribute to the problem. However, we don't have any evidence of that. We're just speculating. I'm only saying what I'm saying about the older frames because I've seen it with my own two.
Any word on that, Protraband?
Well,
you didn't take kindly to that.
Only the strongest Sig defender could show you broken parts and then say we don't have any evidence of this being broken. And you know what's unfortunate too is there are actually, I feel like we've been a little hard on MIM. This will devastate the reputation of the MIM industry. And you know what? There are a lot of American-based MIM manufacturers that I bet could make you a part that doesn't snap in half. So the whole thing's really unfortunate for that reason as well. But yeah, we're off the charts copium-wise.
There are no problems, but if there were, there probably aren't.
I don't know.
Here's
man.
all the evidence that there's problems.
This is literally
There's
what
no
this guy
problem.
said. Let me
The same
summarize.
video.
Schrodinger's problems.
Let me summarize this guy's video. All right, check it out. I've been doing a lot of research. There's been a lot of issues. These are the issues. We can't get it to happen for us, but here's some broken parts. By the way, you're an idiot. Your light is bad. Your holster is bad. You're untrained. But the Sig P320 is perfect. That is his video.
I've never seen like the same kind of uncommanded discharge issue in any like major handgun.
Yeah,
I know
and any
Glock's
other
had
pistol,
some early
this is a
issues.
problem.
Sure. Well, I think the platform in general had issues, like striker guns in general. People coming from safeties on double action only guns or safeties on single action only guns. not having
double action hammers.
and not having a
12,
manual
13
safety
pounds.
on a gun, I imagine was an interesting learning curve for people, right? Especially like departments literally switched from Smith & Wesson revolvers to a Glock 17, right? And a little bit different manual of arms, right? Going from like an 8, 9, 10 pound trigger to a 4.5, 5 pound trigger with no external safety whatsoever, no hammer, right?
They made fun of that on The Wire. One of the Polish kid who's the son of the police chief, ND's in the office.
Oof.
That's a good show.
Watch. All right, Deep, I just put my email address. It's just focustrip@gmail.com. It's pretty simple. Put that in the chat. So just send me an email there and we will get this moving.
2 eyes that they've been slightly out of spec. And I've seen the broken safety lever with my own 2 eyes as well because I have them here. Apart from those things, the modern pistol, I don't believe has anything wrong with it. I just don't. And I'm glad I can come to you and make this video with all the evidence that I've taken in, all the numbers of videos that I've watched. I'm confident in my assertion here.
Whoa, Reno May wants he wants us to respond to this. So, well, thank you for the $50. Sure, that was very, very generous of you, sir. Hope you're doing well. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is.
Are you trying to have sex with me?
That's what it gets. Ben made a video claiming SA has a fix. SA posted on Facebook about having a product to fix it. My friend asked if the SA, the Sig Armor, triggers have the UD issue. SA said their triggers fix it. In my DMs, he said he has a fix expected to come at 150, around 150, to solve the issue. So what happened between then and this video? Because again, if you go to his channel, 2 weeks ago, he said he had a big drop coming. And then now, after visiting Sig Sauer at their place, basically, and getting a new tour of their new facility, he comes out with this video saying that there are no problems with the modern P320. Therefore, there would be no need for his $150 fix, right?
That's all it took. Literally all it took was him going to the factory, getting treated like a African king. Because if you've ever been fisted by an African king, you know.
I'm gonna solo this for a second. I'm gonna put up some wild speculation and some conspiracy theories out into ether. Okay, he does come up with a legit fix to the UD issues. He visits Sig. He tells them what it is, and he sells the design to them. And then Sig will now put out a new stealth update to their FCUs and just roll that going forward. In exchange for that, he gets a bunch of money and has to put out a video saying that there are no problems with modern Sig and never talk about his fix again. That is John's conspiratorial allegations. They came to me in a dream. That's my source. Okay.
Sounds a little more realistic than the Sigs not having problems at all. He did say earlier that he went to Sig, right?
Yes. No. He said that he went to Sig 10 days ago, which is after he posted that initial video where he's like, I don't know, guys, some new things have come to light. That is very, thank you for sending that, Reno. That is very, very strange, because if the Sig Armor said that he had a legit fix, that would imply that there was something to be fixed. And again, keep in mind that he was going to be selling it for about $150 a pop. At Focus Trip, I want to see the Sig Armor make a video showing us whatever product he had worked up and then explaining why he doesn't think it would be worthwhile anymore or wouldn't actually fix anything. Well, I want to know what he was attempting to fix. If he says there are no problems with modern Sigs, what is he attempting to fix? Right?
Well, he thought there was a problem, and then he went and talked to Sig at their factory, and he was convinced there was no problem.
Deep, did you send me an email yet? I am looking for it. Just send me an email and I will respond back with a link, good sir, because we're basically done here. So that is interesting information. I will have to look more into that. Maybe I'll send the Sig Armor a message and see if I get a response. Probably not.
The light variant holds true.
He's gonna have a lot of DMs after this. I think he started off the day at like 500 subs. I don't know what he's at now, but his comments are flooded.
Somebody literally just sent me another UD recreation video. Dylan Holbrook, thank you very much, sir, for sending me that over. From Master Russo, which I guess we can take a look at this in just a second, depending if Deep is going to hop in here or not. Deep, you just need to send.
Come on in, King.
Just send anything to my email address, good sir. Okay, gonna send it now. Perfect. Appreciate it, man.
However, I am a man of science. If someone gives me evidentiary material to the contrary, I will make a video after I test it, and if I'm proven wrong, I will tell y'all. But as of today, May 30th, 2025, this is my opinion. Yeah, that's it. What a nightmare. What a mess. Like, I didn't get into working on Sig pistols to solve a global problem. You know, I solve singular, minute problems one at a time for one client at a time. So the idea of having to take on a global problem that affects everybody on Earth, including our military, was incredibly daunting and frustrating. And I haven't gotten shit done around here. That's why I'm making this video right now, because I'm getting 6 to 8 calls a day asking the same question, and I like to be patient and explain, exactly what I just explained to you to every person, but I just can't do it. I would much rather be working on clients' guns or trying to innovate something new here in the shop, but that hasn't been possible in the last few months with all the testing and all the things we've had to pay attention to as this problem has unfolded. So thanks for watching. I hope it's been helpful. I might cut in a video of my testing procedure as far as the Sear testing goes. But otherwise, thanks for watching, and thanks for being a patron of the Sig Armor.
So that's the end of the video. And no intercutting of the Sear testing either. Just a side note. So what was he gonna sell for $150 to fix an issue that doesn't exist? See, now my brain's going. I'm like, oh, there's more than meets the eye here. The game is afoot.
And something trigger related, right? They said it was a trigger pack or something.
A trigger related to specifically fix the uncommanded discharge issue, which is apparently not an issue, except for the 4 million older guns or whatnot. Maybe
$4 million seems a little high.
Deep, if you just want to send that, it's to focustrip with 2 P's @gmail.com. Oh, here we go. Sigs Greatest Defender. What a great title for the email, bro. All right, awesome. I'm sending you the invite link right now. Give yourself a couple minutes. We will Super interact chat? With we got to. Thank you everybody. And hey guys, if anybody needs to take off because I know it's going to get late on a Friday night, please feel free. I don't mean to keep you guys here longer than you want to, okay? Especially Trench. I know you were actually doing something fun before, so.
Well, Nighthawk is passed out right now, so now I am fully employed by this video.
Hell yeah.
Did she pass out with the mask on, and is that creepy?
Don't worry about what kind of mask. Don't worry about what kind of big holes and masks we got going on here, Mr. Focus.
Nobody cared about who I was until
now you're giving me too much information, Trench.
All right, pause on that.
Those big holes might cause an uncommanded discharge.
Bro,
holes reamed with the drill.
Oh, no. With the drill sergeant? What? Oh,
God damn it. And this
it's in the name.
We're up here and we're going down.
and it's over. Jail Ganas for $4.99 says, what'll happen with the Flux Raider? Do they have an RXM chassis yet?
Probably soon. Magpul will probably make
not
one.
yet, but I think they're working on that. I think that's what I've been told, is that they're working on that. Now, the reason why the Flux Raider will probably never shoot somebody is because it's not as often aimed at them. And nobody actually owns one because they make like 4 and then they sell out every time. So probably not as big of an issue to worry about. 6 Hour for $4.99 says, look at Intact in white face peering over Trench's shoulder. Heart, rainbow, heart, rainbow, heart, rainbow, heart. Apparently that was not Nighthawk. That was Intact in white face, which is even more terrifying. 6 Hour for $4.99 says, Trench, giving hope to all those with downs. Ah, no.
It's true. I'm the king of my people.
The top down.
I'm envious. I'm so bad at collecting haters.
It's just like the bad grunt.
I'm the down top guy. Oh, when we get through these, if Deep has still not joined us yet, we're gonna get to John Shepard as well. Bomani
finally
says I know, I'm sorry, bro. The Sean Ryan podcast with Larry Vickers is cool. I haven't checked out that episode, but maybe that's interesting. I wonder if they get into the whole Larry Vickers.
It's good. I think I listened to an hour and a half. It's actually pretty good.
Okay, I will have to check that out. Thank you, Bomani Igloo, for the $2. Appreciate it, sir. DM Louise for $2 says, Trench, I need you to do 3,000 round Python testing.
Brother, I shot like 500 or 600 rounds for that meme video that got 0 views. So
wait, which Python?
I have two. I have a 3-inch and a 4 1/4. A 4 1/4.
Oh,
yeah.
600 rounds through a revolver.
So no, you go. Don't watch the video because it's a meme.
The reloading itself is giving me. Oh, that's
no. I did ASMR. I I did like ASMR.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Johnny,
That's why nobody's watching. I can't
do Brokeback Grenade.
I don't know how these Zoomers do these freaking ASMR videos. I like.
No, but the first like 6 minutes is me saying things like, "Sig, back in my day, we called him," and then it cuts, and then it's me shooting and stuff like that. So,
dude, I loved it, Trench. I watched it earlier today. It's cool. Everyone should go watch it.
It was supposed to be a 40,000 subscriber,
bro.
like celebration video, like a 40,000 sub celebration. But you know how it goes. You put a lot of effort into a video, no one watches it. That's how YouTube is.
So, Hal Callaway Ballistics just sent me this image, which is striker drag on a P320, which is wild. So look at that case head stamping on there from the whole thing. That is wild. And that is the separated case that had an out of battery discharge. That's an owie. Look at that. Yikes.
I didn't even know strikers could dress and drag.
Yeah. Yeah, it's literally head stamped the case again.
Well, Dank, it's 2025. Birds can be penguins. Well, I was gonna say penguins, but penguins are birds. I ruined the analogy. I failed. My joke failed. That's my fault.
Huge Ass 199 said Trench should appendix in waistband a P320 while jogging. That just sounds painful, bro.
Brother, how much money tonight alone? How much money tonight alone have I made just on hate? I'm
gonna have to look it up, but it's actually gonna be like $100.
That's crazy.
Totted Dogs for $2 says Trench is black. This is factual among cigars. Hard R and everything. Totted Dogs going all the way tonight. Thank you, Totted Dogs, for the $2. Robert Kinley for $2 says thank you for your service, Mr. Focus. Appreciate it, Robert. Although you do have to come on and have a discussion with me because you said some things about me in my chat. And so we should have a conversation about that on a live. He was questioning some of our ethics and standpoints, and so I would like to have a nice discussion with him.
We're the most ethical.
Definitely. Thank you for the $2, Robert. I appreciate it, sir. An Axe of Grind for $2 says focus on Trench, ignore Doll Squad, cope complete. Well, right. So he's saying that people are focusing on Trench instead of the Death Squad or Death Squad. Sorry, Freudian slip.
Death Squad.
Doll Squad. That is a all transgender left-wing militia group, which is close enough to a Death Squad, self-imposed or whatnot. But cope complete. Totally agree. Glow So Bright did a new update on the Doll Squad, which you should all check out. Great video. He does good work. Sig Armor for 199 says, "Oh no, it's hate." Because he's gay. Rainbow. Thank you very much, sir. Deep, I sent you the link. All you have to do is click on it, good sir, and you can hop in here.
Yeah, he said it.
Creation required.
Yeah, just hop in. G17 for $5 says, are y'all watching the new King of the Hill episodes? No, nope. I am not.
I did not know that they're re-releasing it, making more episodes.
He says
15-year time skip. They're rebooting it, I guess.
God damn it, Bobby.
Yeah, can we just not keep on doing this, please?
We're in the age of regurgitation where everything's the same over and over again. Like, listen, another week, another Sig stream. So I guess it's hit me too. Huge ass for $4.99. It says, focus, don't be a tiny hat. Stop stealing my lines and passing them off as your own. I'm sorry. It was too good. I had to steal it. And then you had to call me out with another $4.99. It's all part of the plan. Thank you, huge ass. I appreciate it, sir. Huge ass for another $4.99 says Sig Armor says he looks like he can't live within 500 yards of a school. I did not say that. I think that he is a talented, hopefully well-meaning individual who unfortunately got caught up in the Sig drama. And not just drama. Calling it drama dismisses the issue. It's much more serious than drama. It's quite literally billions of dollars worth of contracts. People's lives are at stake. Wrongful death lawsuits. All sorts of terrible things. So I don't consider the Sig stuff drama at all, but
Sig situation.
The situation. Dude, the SIG situation is wild. That's a good title.
A government contract entanglement.
A government entanglement. Jay Lewis for $5 says, "Oh, a bunch of stickers. Smells like rot. Like,
Hey,
what?
yo.
In it is Jay Lewis. I don't care about the rest of it, but is Jay Lewis British? That's disgusting.
Gross.
British. Not even a real
Yikes, bro.
Good.
Damn.
Operator drops us a singular letter. Not sure what that's in reference to, but thank you.
In reference to a Springfield.
Gosh, we are never beating the allegations. Nick for 1488 says, "Watch the VODs at work. Thanks for helping me get through the workday." Well, hey, I am glad to provide you guys with some entertainment. I know that when I was an Amazon driver, I listened to 8 to 10 hours of podcasts a day. That's what
I wish I was an Amazon driver right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a little bit easier, but I appreciate it. Thank you very much for the $14.88. Good, sir. Clay Gable for $1.99 says absolutely nothing, but I'm pretty sure people responded to him with a certain set of letters. 6 Hour for $1.99 says, "Trench, what's wrong with hand reaming?"
Stop that. Knock that off.
Okay, I was going to say, you're going to have to get with my man Bones on that one. Okay.
No. All right.
Damn.
Bones, do you agree with Trench's take on hand reaming and its possible benefits?
You know, if you're doing the reaming, it's fine.
Well, we filmed that already, right? The reaming.
All right.
Well, it's not going to be on YouTube. It'll be elsewhere.
Oh, all right. So we have Sig's greatest defender in the back room. We'll go ahead and let him get ready for a second, and then we'll bring him on.
Let's go.
Jay Lewis for $10 says, back to the Reeman. I despise drill Reeman so very much. I'm gonna give you dollars. Wasn't my fault, comma, parentheses. I, ... cost 6 digits because you fooled a carb reamer. I still hate myself.
This dude
that was a sentence of all time, but I thank you very much. I didn't even notice it was a necklace cross wearing. It looks like a Orthodox icon. $10. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. Is it?
Pretty sure that's a profile.
It's Roman Catholic, but I don't think it's an Orthodox cross. I think it's a Western Church cross.
Guys,
I still appreciate the $10, sir. Thank you, sir. I thought I heard one of my doors slam, so I was like, "It's secure already." Damn.
SWAT's happening right now.
NATO deck
it's going down.
First in the drinks room.
All right, the 6th greatest defender. Let's go ahead and bring him on now. I think he's putting his headphones in.
I do hear a little bit of mic echo.
He's sideways.
He's sideways. No,
sideways. That's all right.
Can I do that?
I don't know how to fucking switch it. I don't care. Honestly, I don't care. It's all good.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
Fair enough.
All right, let's see here. I should switch the layout. How do I do this?
Wait, what can I not do?
No, him in the middle is perfect.
The reason why I didn't want to do it tonight, because honestly, I've been drinking and smoking. But,
hell yeah.
Just tell me what I can and cannot do on stream, because I'm going to try to not. I don't want to get y'all banned. You know what I'm saying?
No, I appreciate it, sir. So what you can't do on stream specifically is no guns.
Okay.
No guns on stream.
Okay.
And you can say just about anything you want. Cursing is fine. Expletives are fine. Okay. We try and keep the major slurs to a minimum to not get the channel taken down. But just generic rules. I don't really police what people can and can't say.
Just the one time that I accidentally made a no joke today.
Yeah. And also, don't get naked, please. Don't do that.
Yeah. Don't pull a gun out. Don't pull a dick out. Other than that, we'll be good.
So are we good? So greatest defender. Do you want us to call you greatest defender? What do you go by?
Look at this man moving and.
You're a little robot-y.
It's a little hard to hear you.
Oh man, honestly, yeah, you could just hit me up. Just do that. SG, just hit me up with that. It's fine.
Sounds good, Mr. SG. All right, so there's 6 of us. There's only one of you. What would you like to start out with?
You're kind of lagging, sir.
Good, sir.
All right. Yeah. So I just want to know, why don't you guys ever go over any of the actual cases? because when you read the actual cases, they never really find that it's the gun. And majority of the time, the plaintiff is literally admitting that, hey, he did something. He pressed on that trigger. I just don't know why no one has ever. I can't find a YouTube channel where everybody has went over those cases, and I'm just wondering why that's the case. What's going on with that?
So you must be a little bit new here, I guess. We do.
Yeah, I'm new.
Quite a bit, and there's a lot of not so great stuff in there. I'm assuming. Where did you say you heard that? Where did you hear that from? I'm assuming Sig.
Okay, let's say the Abrams case. All right, one of those is like 2.8 million. The other one's like 11 million. I don't know, but the Abrams case.
Yeah, it's 11 million. Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't the jury find like it was his mishandling of the gun that caused it to go off?
No, sir. Not as far as I know. He was an Army veteran, heavy gunner, ran M60. This is great.
Yeah, I don't care what he was, but I mean, you sure about that?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he had a lot of time on firearms. It was in his pocket. I don't think
in his pocket.
Yeah.
I'll give you. I'm reading from the actual. Pocket. Well, so I pulled up the article specifically, or one of the articles specifically, and here is from the defendant's legal team. It says the jury saw the P320 for exactly what it is, defective and dangerous, said firm partner Robert W. Zimmerman, lead plaintiff's counsel. We successfully argued that Sig Sauer knew of the risks of the P320 design, predicted those risks would injure its customers, and saw these risks play out in the real world. Sig Sauer knowingly and negligently compromised safety in the name of profit. Now, that is, of course, from the defendant's legal team, so that's going to be as positive as possible. So now let's listen to Sig sign in a second. But to be clear, the verdict and jury trial award was $10 million in punitive damages and $1 million.
That's a whole lot of money.
Well, $10 million in punitive, but $1 million in compensatory damages, meaning to actually make him whole for, getting shot. And now let me see, where is. I want to have Sig Sauer's. I'm going to find Sig Sauer's statement on it. Let me see if AP News has it in their article. Again. That's trial. So the company said in a statement posted on its website that jurors had agreed that the plaintiff's own negligence contributed to his accident, and it defended the P320 as among the most tested, proven, and successful handguns in recent history. The plaintiff did not deny the gun fired because the trigger moved. We strongly disagree with the verdict in this unintended discharge lawsuit and will be appealing the decision on multiple grounds, the company said. So what they're saying, I think this is a specific issue that Sig is actually lobbying for in New Hampshire, is that the argument was not that the trigger was not pulled in this specific case, but that due to the trigger's design and not having a blade style safety, Sig knew that the trigger could be pulled in a, I guess, less than intentional manner. And that's what the jury sided with as well.
You think that's fair?
Define fair. I mean, do you think it's fair that he carried a P320?
Come on, man. Look. Okay.
Well, I do mean like
okay.
Legitimately, I'm willing to hear both sides of the argument.
let's say okay. All right, cool. Hold up. There's a case with a CD Shadow 2, and look, hey, correct me if I'm fucking wrong. It dropped and it killed somebody. Now, that actually happened. Okay?
That's not true.
Well,
that's not true.
Let him give your rebuttal.
No, that's not true. Hey, look, if it's not true, okay. All right.
I was going to say it can't kilt anybody because you can't put a kilt on somebody. It might have killed them.
Trench, knock that off.
Okay, cool.
Shut up.
It's beautiful. Thank you so much. That's all good. So anyway, now, would putting a trigger safety on that gun have prevented that from happening? Should we put more safeties on guns to prevent that from happening?
So I pulled up the actual case here. So it was a USPSA range officer shot during a accidental discharge during a match. Now, I suppose this is more complicated because I believe he was going through the course of fire and tripped or dropped his gun, and then the gun went off and killed the RO in this case, which is horribly tragic.
So
right?
the gun dropped
Well, agreed with that.
and then fired and then killed somebody.
Correct. But this is not, this is a heavily modified CZ Shadow 2, probably not on its factory configuration.
Yeah,
versus,
but still, remember, look, the rest of the USPA shooters are living human beings, and like, we can't compromise their lives, you know, just for the sport.
So you
should we
think
like
that-
put safeties on their guns to like, you know, prevent that from happening? Because we actually have an actual case of someone dying, like gun fall, boop, kill somebody, actually, you know. And if the gun had more safeties on it, under this jury's logic, that would have prevented that from happening. So you want more government oversight on guns?
let me make this pretty clear. So let me give you an analogy to hopefully get my point across. Let's say a gentleman is driving a race car, driving very fast on a track, legally, crashes, kills himself. Right? He decided to engage in a more dangerous activity, legally speaking, versus, let's say, a company makes a car where the brakes just don't work on it some of the time. Which ones of those should be held legally accountable for their actions?
Do you want more government oversight on guns or not?
That's not relevant to the point.
You need to be more specific on that. I don't know
well,
what you mean
that's
by that.
exactly what would actually have to happen. That's the only way it would actually happen.
Let's take the government out of it. So I would like the P320 to be designed better. That's my statement on it.
The king is
how do you intend on making that happen? I agree with you. So let's say I agree with you, all right? How do you intend on making that happen?
Well, I think that people that are negatively affected by the P320 design should be allowed to sue Sig and seek compensatory damages and maybe even lead to recalls, like what they did with the US military in 2017.
How does getting to that, okay, how do we get that to happen in our society, okay, to enforce SIG to make changes to their gut?
We hold them accountable in courts of law, as that is the legal recourse for individuals.
Oh yeah, is that how we do it?
We also relentlessly make fun of them online.
Spreading the information and what's happening. Are you no longer defending SIG at this point?
Is that how we do it, guys? Hey, look, man, just say, hey, look, there's a couple Dems. Hey, guys, look, chat. If you vote Democratic in New Hampshire, you might get, hey, look, they might rescind that bill. What was it? I think like 381 or whatever. They might rescind that bill. Just keep voting first. Democrat, and then you can get more government oversight. Okay, but if you don't, you know what you get to do, guys? You get to build a suppressor in your own fucking state, like Montana and goddamn Texas. Why would I not fucking want that? Jesus,
what are you talking about, dude?
Well, no. Let me. So I think we're talking past each other here a little bit. So none of us are arguing for more governmental control on what these manufacturers are doing. We simply what SIG is. No. Let me talk. What SIG has done, though.
Okay, go ahead.
You're good. What SIG has done, however, is they have gone to the government and said, "Please protect us from private individuals." Right? So none of us here are arguing that none of us here are arguing that the government should come into your house and tell you what you can and can't do with your firearms or whatnot, right? That would be ridiculous. But what we are saying is that they shouldn't, the flip side of that is that they should not actively protect companies that allegedly have a design flaw within their handgun that has done bad things to people.
That allegedly is doing so much work, buddy. That allegedly is it's doing so much fucking work. It's about to break its fucking back. That allegedly word is just breaking so much of its back. You have to prove there's a defect.
I think that's already been proven.
The burden of no. The burden is on y'all to prove that there's a defect. A gun having a trigger safety or not, okay, all right, doesn't mean it's defective. That's the way these cases are being ruled. All right?
So the case is not that the gun itself was defective, only that Sig Sauer was negligent in its design.
Design complete. Well, you got to complete all that, homie. You can't just be leaving that out. Complete that. Well, negligent in its design and what? What was it missing?
It wasn't missing anything inherently. It was designed in a natural way.
Buddy.
Let him cook.
You know
Let
what?
him cook.
You know what?
Bones, let him cook.
Y'all can have that. Y'all can have. Hey, y'all are seeing it. Your chat. Hey, look, y'all are seeing it right here. I don't even have to do it. I'm just saying. Look, man. The only way to get y'all to get Sig to do what you want is to get the government, the actual government, to do that. That is the only way. Okay.
I disagree, and let me give you a real world example. So, for instance,
Gotcha.
Ford.
Let's go. Break this down.
Well, so here's another example. So, for instance, Ford got embroiled in a class action lawsuit when their 2008 through 2013 Ford Fusion, the brakes would intermittently stop working if they encountered a puddle. This is true because I actually drove a Ford Fusion that had this specific
I worked
issue.
for Ford from 2007. Keep going.
That checks out, good sir. So moving forward, what private individuals sued them and forced them to recall it, right? No government forcing them to do it. But part of it was that they recalled and updated the brakes so that people stopped dying or stopped getting into accidents in this case, right?
Very reasonable.
So at no point did they pass a law against Ford saying, listen, Ford, you actually have to install brakes in your car that work, right? Now, it was enforced privately through the courts, right? That is our simplest means of recompense when a company damages us, right? That is our recourse legally. Now, I have a question for you, say Greatest Defender, and I just pretty
shit,
simple.
okay.
Do you believe that a P320 has ever gone off on its own?
Gone off on its own? Absolutely fucking not. No.
Perfect.
No.
Well,
Do you believe that Sig has ever had a problem with broken parts? Let's say a striker safety.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. Do you believe that Sig has ever had issues, perhaps with manufacturing tolerances on some of their guns?
Yeah.
Perfect. Do you believe that Sig produced 1 million guns? Let's
Rope
say
it in,
that
boy.
we're not.
Rope it in. What was that last
We're
one?
not. Do you believe that Sig produced roughly 1 million guns that were not drop safe?
No.
I mean, you don't believe that, though. Even though they issued a voluntary upgrade to fix the drop safe issue, you don't believe that they did that.
Hold up, homie. Hold up.
We're holding,
Okay.
brother. We're holding on for dear life.
Only one gun in ever in existence was proven to drop and gone off, and that belongs to the military. Okay,
The Sig.
that's it. That's the one single case.
It's the Sig. We've got it.
One single
It's the
case.
one. That's
Hold on,
Okay.
deep.
They
How would
did
you
that.
feel?
They did that to satisfy one person. I was the military. I said, "Here you go, homie. Fine. We'll put on the motherfucking part." Okay.
That's true.
That
Hey,
what?
Deep.
That video don't prove nothing to me. That prove. Hey, buddy.
I mean,
that
It is
don't prove
video
nothing to me.
evidence. It is
That
not
is so
happened to
cute.
just one.
Oh my
It has happened
gosh.
to multiple.
Oh,
If you cannot admit
oh,
that,
it's such a cute video. Oh my
Hold on,
gosh.
then
guys.
what are we doing?
Oh,
Guys, hold on.
beautiful. Yes. Oh,
Well,
wow.
so just to be clear, I just want to be clear. You do
Who
believe
would
that
shoot a video
is
like that? You got a cameraman looking at the fucking gun, and you got the dude there. Why would you do that?
Well, it's called a blank.
No, there's no safety at
it's
all.
called a blank.
Like,
OSHA
it
is
might
like
even
just
just be a
turning
primer.
It's
around
called a
in his
blank.
fucking grave. OSHA's like,
Deep.
hey man, nothing. Y'all just gonna drop a gun that could go off? You got the cameraman just looking
That's
at it down
the
like that.
point.
Okay, cool.
Deep,
Keep
how
going.
would
They
you feel
took
if you
the
didn't have breakfast
projectile
this morning?
out.
Hold on, Deep. How would you feel if you didn't have breakfast this morning?
I don't know. I don't get the joke. Just do your meme or whatever the fuck you got to do.
Adam.
Hey, I'm sorry. Hey, I'm sorry. What was that? What was I supposed? I had breakfast.
No, don't worry
sorry,
about
go
it.
ahead,
It's
man.
not
I'm
worth
sorry.
it.
I didn't mean to mean like that. Seriously. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Do your thing.
So
I had.
What about this one?
Take it away. Not that high. 4 feet. 4 feet. That's roughly 4 feet. All right, ready?
5'0"?
1.
So
guys.
So not one.
Guys. Seriously, think about this.
We're thinking.
This is the most stupidest motherfucking thing in my entire life. You're gonna drop a fucking gun, and you think wearing you think just covering up here is good enough? I hope it went through his fucking nuts. Hey, do it again, and I hope it ilms for his fucking nuts. What? Hey, no, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. No.
Wait. So just
okay. Hey, you know what? Wait, straight up. Hey, hold on. Fine. Let's say it's real. Can we get the gun taken apart and measure and see like if they have some tolerance stacking issues?
We've been talking about
where are these guns at? Where are these guns being tested at after these events happen?
I think Doge sent them to Mars.
Oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking
Doge
god.
Sent them to Mars, sir.
Are you saying every?
So just, I do want to back up a second because before you said that it wasn't an issue, and that there was only ever one gun that the military got to go off.
Dude.
But I just want to be very specific.
Okay, look, guys, look. Let me help y'all out. Let me help y'all out. If the Sig had an issue, if the Sig actually had an issue, then the bill. I'm gonna say I think it's like New Hampshire HB 381. I don't know. Fucking look it up for yourself. Then the failure is on y'all's part for not taking all of this data on the internet of the Sig dropping this, doing that, y'all poking around, doing around whatever the fuck y'all doing when y'all take it apart, and not taking that data and giving it to, hey, this lawyer is literally trying to gather a team to sue Sig. Okay, and they could use as much help as possible. Okay, and you could have gathered all the collective data that you guys had and given it to this fucking lawyer. Okay, and be like, hey, submit this into fucking discovery, guys. Okay, and as we submit this in the fucking discovery, we'll use this to fight against Sig. And none of that has ever fucking happened. You guys are literally just wasting your goddamn time poking around, getting guys to save their fucking P3 fucking 20s, and then be like, guys, hey, I fixed my P320, guys. Now do it this. It's both things. You just butchered your fucking P320 for no fucking reason. That's what you fucking did. Fucking retard. Okay, go ahead.
So when you say none of this evidence has ever been submitted in a court case, you wouldn't mean the court cases that they've lost where this evidence has been brought up, would you?
There's 2 court cases where they lost. Let's go. Keep going.
And how many have been settled out of court and how many are active?
2. Let's go. Keep going.
How many are active? No. Almost 30, I believe.
13 also have been dismissed, by the way. 13. 13 of them. Okay.
Correct. So they've lost some.
Just because you're submitting a case, doesn't mean anything.
Active.
Just because you're submitting a case, okay,
well,
that doesn't mean anything. You could submit a case, and hey, look, you could submit a case, bro. Homie, look, let me tell you something. $1,500. You could just go right there to the county, submit a fucking case all fucking day long. You really can, all right? When that judge gets that case, and the judge is like, oh, you're a fucking goddamn idiot. Throwing away. It doesn't matter. I don't care how many goddamn cases are submitted against fucking Sig. That actually doesn't fucking matter.
Has that happened to you before, bud?
Huh?
Has that happened to you before? Just curious.
No, I'm just homie. Look, I am high. I'm smoking right now. All right, I am nerfed.
We know.
I am nerfed.
We know.
Right
You're
now,
aware that you're hypothetical.
Sir,
that you just
you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say or do can be used against you.
Hey, look, where am I wrong? Where am I fucking wrong? Just hey, look, just cook me.
In a lot
Be
of
like,
places.
hey,
I'll
this
tell
guy,
you.
he's
Sir,
a
we don't
fucking
need to cook you.
retard.
You cook
He's
yourself.
a Sig defender. Where am I fucking
So,
wrong? That's all I want to know.
Let's take your standpoint here. Let's steel man it. This should be fun. So let's say that Sig has never done anything wrong, never designed anything wrong. They have nothing to worry about.
That's impossible, homie. I live on planet Earth. Hey.
No. I'm taking
all
your
gun manufacturers is perfect.
I'm taking your position here, right?
Oh my God, I don't think Sig is perfect. Hey, well, hold up. Hold up. I do not. That is not my position. I do not think Sig is perfect. I think Sig has made some mistakes? Absolutely. But if we are to count mistakes across all fucking gun companies, hey, Sig is not the only fucking one. All right? You're just hyper focused on just fucking Sig for some goddamn reason. I have no idea. Okay.
Other companies having
whatever
issues
happened to
doesn't
Remington?
negate Sig's
Remington
issues.
just raked over the coal because you know what? Remington actually killed people. Actually, I think it's like 112 people died because of Remington.
Let me walk
it's
through
112.
this a little bit. Let me walk through this a little bit. So I'm steel manning your position. So you do
Okay,
not
all right,
believe
just go ahead. Do your thing.
So you do not believe that the P320 is a defective design, right?
Do I know?
So that's a no.
I believe the P320 has had problems before. I hold up. Let me back up. Ooh, hold up. Do I believe that the P320 had a drop problem? Absolutely. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not denying that. Okay. All right. What I am defending is just because the gun has a 4.5 pound trigger. Okay. Just because it has a shorter travel than a fucking Glock, it should not be subjected to fucking government oversight and being, you know what? You need to extend your goddamn trigger and add a goddamn fucking safety and make your trigger fucking worse. And if people don't want that, if goddamn Americans don't fucking want that on their fucking gun, that's their goddamn right to own that fucking gun. And if they shoot themselves because of their fucking negligence, that's on fucking them. That's not on the fucking goddamn company. That's on literally them. You know what? Hey, look. Hey,
what are you talking about?
Goddamn manual. All right, I'll stop. All right, go ahead. You know what I need?
So I'm gonna get to this point eventually. Yes. Believe me, I'm gonna work there. So it is, in your opinion, that the 320 has had some issues, but the design as a whole.
I'm sorry.
That it is your position that the P320 does not have a design flaw that can cause it to go off on its own. Correct?
Currently, no. Currently, absolutely not, homie.
Okay, perfect. Now, if that were true, if Sig were to believe that they could not lose in a court case, why is it that they're lobbying to not get sued in New Hampshire, using the power of the government to limit what people can and can't say about Sig?
What Sig is specifically saying, okay? What Sig is specifically saying, that they're tired of lawyers from outside of the state, okay, taking advantage, okay, of them as a company, which hires a lot of people, okay? There's a whole bunch of people that work under this company, all right? A whole bunch of people, all right? And Sig is saying that in none of these goddamn cases, none of them, not even the ones that they fucking lost, okay? Not any of them that they fucking lost, all right? Does it show that, hey, it was the gun? Every plaintiff, okay, from Abrams to fucking Lang, okay, the two cases that they fucking lost, all right, admits to putting some input into the gun, all right? That is actually true, Poacher Van. Actually fucking true. Okay, read it. They actually did.
So here's how it works, Sig Defender. If you are locked in a room with attorneys for 8 hours, an entire day, do you think we could get you to answer a question in a way that makes you look bad? I mean, Focus Trip is dog walking you, and it's only been about 30 minutes. So do you think you'd survive a whole day of questioning? Feel free to let me know when you're done with the rip there, buddy. You think so? Okay. Well, you're a highly intelligent man. That much is assured.
All right, so let's back off Sig for a moment, shall we? This should be also interesting. So let's take Sig out of the equation. Yeah. Why aren't other gun manufacturers getting sued for the exact same thing? And I want to be more specific to the category of striker-fired polymer-framed handguns.
I think what needs to happen is we need to just get every Sig. You know what? Let's take all the Sigs, get them away from cops. And we should just give them the Glocks or whatever they want. I think some guys even got shadow systems, actually. And just do that. And then we'll see if people are shooting themselves or not. Honestly,
well, so what if I told you that pretty much
that is happening? Yeah.
A huge amount of police officers are using Glocks currently.
Correct.
And what if I told you that between 2005 and 2019, the Glock was the most popular handgun, best-selling handgun every year?
2005?
I'm pretty sure it was about 15 years running that it was the most Glock 19 was the highest selling.
So 2024, the Glock was outselling Sig. The P365.
I don't believe so now, but my point being is that there are millions of Glocks in existence.
Gotcha.
Hundreds of thousands of them in cops' holsters probably as we speak. So why aren't we seeing the same level of issues with something like a Glock or an MNP or a shadow system?
P365.
I think it's because possibly there's a trigger safety on there.
But not with
now you've trapped yourself, right, boss?
Yes, correct.
My brother.
Hey, who said it? Who got it?
Me. You trapped yourself with the light-bearing holsters.
With light-bearing holsters. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. The only gun that I've seen go off in light-bearing holsters this much is the P320. If it is in fact the light-bearing holsters and with the P320 specifically, that means that the safety.
You know when the light-bearing holsters is being suggested. Hold up. You know that's just being suggested, homie. That's just being. Hold up. That's not like a definitive thing. That's a man's suggestion. Okay. Keep going. Let's go with your hypothetical. No, let's go with your hypothetical.
I'm going to just interject here. I'm going to let John keep going, but
okay.
I do want to say that is from Phil Strader from Sig. Pretty definitively said that it was a Safariland holster. He demoed a Glock in a Safariland light-bearing holster and said, "This is what happened, homie." Like that's from Sig. He is there.
Oh, you know what? Hey, you know what? Hey, honestly, hey, you're right. No, honestly, you're right. Right. He did say that in that map.
Okay, so here's the deal.
Go ahead.
If it is in fact the holster and the P320 combo that is the issue, and it's not happening with any other holster, that means there is a defect in the design of the P320. Even if it's just
okay. You know what? Let's lean into this. Let's lean into this. All right, there's a defect. What do you want to happen? No. Let's lean into this. There's a defect. What do you want to happen next?
Sig to take responsibility and make
by
it
doing
right
what?
for their customers.
By doing what?
Either replacing the defective units or giving them a refund.
Okay, by the defective units? What's defective? What do they want to replace exactly on the gun?
Well, if it is the holsters, they need to add the safety dongle on the triggers because that's what's.
Okay. Sweetness. Okay, cool. So you believe that if a gun can kill someone by jostling, falling on the fucking ground, that maybe we should add these trigger safeties onto them?
Well, so let's say hypothetically.
I don't think that's the actual issue with. I don't think this the lack of.
Oh my fucking god! Oh my fucking god, dude! Oh, okay. All right.
Hold on, Doug. Give me a second.
Can I try a hypothetical?
No, you've been rambling this entire time. I've barely had a word to edgewise.
You gotta
one hypothetical, please.
Shush. Give me a minute.
Okay, all right.
I personally
All right, go
don't
ahead.
think the
Go ahead,
issue
do your
with the
thing, do your
P320
thing.
is the lack of a safety dongle. That doesn't seem to
Mhm.
be where it's at. But if it is, as Sig says, if it is as Sig says, the issue is the combination of P320 and a light bearing holster. One, means it's not fit for duty. You need a light on a duty weapon. Period. End of story. Two, I'm kind of losing where I'm going here. It's a little past my bedtime. But if the
Hey,
issue
look, man,
is the
I didn't want to
holster,
stay up this late. It was y'all. It was fucking y'all. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
if the issue is the holster, if that is truly what is setting these guns off, which personally don't really think that's the case, Sig's at fault because they designed a gun that they know will go off in a light bearing holster, and then they sold it to cops to use as duty weapons with lights. That's insane. That's 100% on Sig. I don't know how you escape that.
Hey, man, so there's a lot of people that own the gun that don't get shot by it. Are they just more competent?
But the fact that people do get shot by the gun without touching it is the problem. Because it
Without
doesn't happen
touching
with
it.
other firearms. Yeah.
Well, so
Homie.
let me throw this hypothetical out there, sir, because I actually do want to get your answer.
Can I just get one hypothetical? Just one.
Go for it.
Hold up, homie. I honestly, I forgot. I forgot what I was going to do.
Okay, no, you're good. So
go ahead,
for
do
instance,
your thing. Honestly, do your thing. Do your thing.
I'm honestly, I don't believe that the light bearing holsters are the issue, or external safeties or trigger dongles. Specifically for the most famous example of a P320 going off and shooting someone is actually Genghis Khan, who had his hands touching his head and the gun in a non-light bearing holster, just sitting there waiting for the start signal to go off, when it went off in his holster and deflected off of a Benchmade knife in his pocket, saving him from a hole in his leg. Now, you can say that he's lying, the RO is lying, the statement...
I am not saying that. Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Correct. So if you're not saying that they're lying, by implication they're telling the truth, the P320 went off on its own, with no input from anyone inside of a non-light bearing holster.
We're saying that there are tolerance stacking issues from the production of the gun that has gone through a lot of stealth changes. And it wouldn't be going through those stealth changes if nothing was wrong.
Hey, look, I'll say this right now. The stealth change shit, that is a problem with Sig. Okay. I'll even admit right now, I think there's something going on with the Legion. You guys not know about the Legion? Okay, so there's there's a guy who builds holsters. Okay. Well, I'm gonna get back on track, okay? Let me just say this, because it's be all shit. They're finding that there's 2 Legion builds, okay? And the trigger guard is 2 different widths, which is a pain for holster builders, okay? Because obviously, and I think the Picatinny rail is, I think, a little bit of a different width, but it's just a couple thousand, okay? Man, I'm gonna send it to one of y'all, and y'all gonna fucking love it. Anyway, back to what I was saying. About the tolerance stacking issues. Okay. When else you look that up? I'm seriously about that. The P365 Legion, about the tolerance stacking issues. You guys gonna have to prove that.
65 or 320?
It's the P365 Legion. There's a build 1 and a build 2, and the only way to find out is if you take out the goddamn I can't show the fucking gun. The grip off of it, and it has like a different serial numbers or whatnot. Guys, I'm fucking drunk. Hi.
Fire control unit.
Well, so let me interject here for a second. So you're telling me that Sig put out 2 different frames with differences in them that are dependent on their serial number.
Correct.
And do the differences between those frames potentially lead to problems?
How?
That Sig themselves... Well, I don't know. You're bringing this up, sir. That
Well, yeah, no. They do lead to problems, but hold up, homie. What you're gonna have to define the problem. Okay, like what do you mean? Specify.
You brought this up, good sir. So
No,
I'm
no.
actually
I
waiting-
brought this up, but I don't know what you're talking about when you say problem. Problem is very broad.
Any sort of issue. Let's say it doesn't fit quite right in a holster. Let's say the FCU doesn't fit quite as tight on the inside. The slide to frame fit maybe isn't quite as good. Maybe a little different. Maybe the geometry changes. Maybe the trigger guard's a little shorter on one, so it causes it to stick up a little higher in a holster when you have a light attached. No idea. You brought this up, so I'm just theorizing here.
Correct. That would actually depend on the holster builder.
So let's say, for instance, Sig sells a holster on their website that's certified for a specific pistol.
Correct.
And I put a Model 1 in a Model 2 holster, or vice versa. Do you think that could cause any sort of fitment issues between the two different versions?
Absolutely.
All right, well, sir, I'm gonna give you the floor for a couple minutes, and then we really have to move along here. But I do appreciate you coming on tonight. So, do you have like a closing statement you'd like to give the six of us? Because I do appreciate your time, sir.
Yeah, look, y'all collect so much fucking data. It's crazy how much data y'all collect. I just don't know why you don't just like submit it to the fucking lawyer if you're so right. Have y'all done any of that at all?
That's happening, bud. Not with us specifically, but
so that's
they are
happening
working
now.
hard on
So
that.
hold up. That's happening now that Sig has been granted this immunity in New Hampshire.
There's a lot of different other court cases.
There's a lot of different
rely
what?
on that immunity. Hold on,
How
buddy.
long have these cases
That
have been
aren't
going on?
affected by that
No. How long have
immunity
these
that are
cases been
going
going on, and why are you taking so long to do it?
Why are we taking so long to do it? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
just,
bro, contraband. Hey, how
biggest
long? How
gun
old
company
is
in
that
the
fucking
world.
video, bro? How old is that fucking video?
How old is
Come on,
my
the first
video?
one.
I just uploaded today, boss.
So no, homie. How long
Yeah.
have you been ragging on Sig? Saying,
I
yo, they're
wouldn't say I've
doing
been
this, they're
ragging
making
on
parts in
Sig.
India, they're fucking doing goats. I don't know, whatever. The fuck.
Lawyers have been pursuing
those are the
Sig
talent.
Sauer for probably close to a decade, at least 8 years, I would say.
Gotcha. And you guys have been like definitively like, there's like emails of you guys like, so yo, I found this on this Sig and I found this on that Sig and blah 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 blah. Y'all can use this information.
I'm not saying we are doing that. I'm saying the attorneys have been working really hard. And if you
The
read some
attorneys have been working really hard, but all the collective
from
data
experts.
that you guys have got.
Yo,
all
Sig
these
Defender,
videos.
you got to
Okay.
let him finish the point before you interrupt him.
All right. Go ahead.
You could interject after, but
No,
just
I'm
let him
sorry.
get it
No,
through.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, all of the no, you can take a hit. It's fine. All of the hypotheticals that you're talking about, but where's all the evidence? Where is it all? Very intelligent people are working on that. So don't you worry, bud. And by the way, I don't think the jury's going to award 10 million in punitives if they believe the plaintiff pulled the trigger himself. But let me know what you think on that one.
Which case was that one? Is that Abrams or Lang?
Yeah,
The
I
Abrams
think
case.
we're about done here, focus, but that's up to you guys.
Well, yeah, so 60 seconds, closing statement, Sig's greatest defender, and we got to move on with the rest of the night, sir. But I do appreciate you coming on. Appreciate it, sir.
No, I mean, that's all I got to say. I mean, like, if you guys got all this data, I mean, like, I honestly think, no, seriously, like, we should really work together to bring down Sig. But, like, you guys should really take down.
He's on our side.
Let's say I'm on your side. No. Let's go. That was advocate on your side. Let's go. Let's take this data, guys, seriously. Let's get all of it together. Okay. And then what we should really do is give it to this lawyer. I think it's like something Zimmerman. Look, now that I've got Focus Strip's email, I will give him the lawyer's email and even I think the law firm, and you guys could take all this data that you guys have on the P320 and send it to them and probably help them, I don't know, not let Sig get immunity. That's fucking heinous, right, guys?
Sig Defender, can you talk without showing them on camera? Can you tell us about your personal gun collection? I'm really curious. And don't show them on camera.
I know. Okay. Well, not. Bam. I can't.
Yo, trench back
here, right? CZ75. We've got a Buck Mark 22. I've got a.
All right, brother.
Sig. Okay.
Listen, man,
right.
we're hitting 3 hours. I was gonna call it at 3 hours, so we are hitting it here. I appreciate it, man.
Later.
You got my
See you
email.
later.
Hit me up if you think about anything else in the morning, good sir. Have a good
Yeah,
night.
I mean, whatever, man. I'll come fucking.
And one last thing,
whatever.
Sig, before you leave, I do
Oh my
recommend
God.
you either go through Focus Trips or Protraband's videos to see their opinions on it, just in your own free time, if you want to or not. Just so you could see a little bit more about
but
what
you know
we've had
what?
to say.
For you, I'll do it again. I'll do it again just for you.
Okay, have a good night.
Nice guy.
No.
Sleep tight.
I'm free. I'm free.
Well, that was fun.
Well,
We need more of that energy.
I need more
right now.
intellectual
That was fantastic,
Brother.
Absolutely
What just
amazing.
happened?
I don't.
You clearly must be too dumb to realize the enlightening experience we just had.
My
I
phone
agree.
died. It ejecto-cetoed me out of here. I came back.
Oh, bro.
And it was dank.
I don't
Just
know-
like
I don't
you
know
have to
what
let him
happened.
finish.
Yeah, last couple of
That's what
days
she
has
said.
been the retard anonymous. I guess we just
That's
pull
correct.
somebody from the crowd. Like, hey, you want to come in and fight us? That is gonna go well for you. Come on here right now. And they're like, yeah, we'll do it. While drunk and high. I love that when they start out like, listen, guys, I can't legally sign a 4473, but I'm here, right? That's my favorite. All right,
it's
bro.
happened twice and it's gone well both times.
Let's do it again next week, gentlemen. But I got to get out of here. And there are 64 super
65.
chats to get through. We're not getting out of here before midnight. So I hope you're all well aware of that.
Okay.
Holy shit.
Let Trent read all of them.
Yeah, Trench has to read them all. That's his punishment.
Light-bearing holsters? Sigger, please. Why do Glocks not do this then? M&Ps? Siggers will cope and seethe all day and tell the truth.
All Sigas know is lie and eat hot chip or
Yeah.
whatever that thing
To
is.
be clear, that wasn't me. That was AI reading that for sure.
Yes, that was
Yeah,
not
yeah.
French. I don't even know who that is. Thank you very much, SB89 for the $5. I appreciate it, sir. All right, break faded for $1.99.
Outdated technique.
Laughing emoji.
The cock inspector for $4.99 says,
Sig. Now say it's the holster's fault and we'll let your family go.
"Oh, that's good. That's good. Thank you very much, the cock inspector." I don't know if it's worth more or less that Trench is saying it and not me. Let the chat decide.
Sig
Vintage
Sour
Warfare
for $4.99 says, look into the holster. That's actually something dumber than Trench would say. Hey, fuck you.
Bro, we got a bunch of these. But hey, he's giving you a compliment. He's saying that guy's dumber than you are.
It's a backhanded one.
Yeah,
Sig
very
Sour
backhanded.
for $4.99 says, when an incel becomes a gun armorer, facepalm.
Nice. Thank you, Sig Sauer, for the.
By the way,
$4.99.
you're on my
Appreciate it.
backup to the backup to the backup iPad right now for my
Oh.
like YouTube notes, so I can
He's on the
barely see.
DSI right
Happens.
now.
Yes, I can barely see or hear anything.
You're doing good, Hobie. You're doing great. Only 62 more to go.
SG89 for $5 says the Sigger known as the deep inside of you is the newest Sig intern, and this stream is his assignment. Thanks for the $5, SG89.
I don't want to
thank
stop
you.
us because I know we're going through this, but his username made me really think, what was his relationship like with his uncle? Is all I gotta say.
Oh,
I
no.
don't know.
He's got a lot going on.
The deepest
Yo.
inside you. Thank you very
He's
much.
got a
for
lot
$5
going
SP.
on.
Whew. All right, here we go. Jebby Lewis for $10.
Oh, is it me? My
Yes, sir.
subcon pulls my trigger straight. The end. Target focus. You cannot attribute actions to subconscious. That's it. Stop. You simply must pull strike.
Good one.
Right.
Thank you very much, Jay Lewis, for the $10. Yeah, certain people not very good at pulling straight, right, Trench?
I mean, that's Bones. He's the one.
Or,
hanging
sorry, yeah, I was
the
gonna say Bones. All right, okay, we're gonna move on from Trench. It is now Dank's turn.
Okay,
Good luck
okay,
with these
okay.
next
He's
five.
got that nice voice.
All right,
Hi,
Cam for $4.99.
No.
You got to say who it's from and the amount and the way Focus does it. Cam for $4.99 says.
Cam for $4.99. Hi, Egg. I love you.
Nice. Thank you for the $4.99, Cam. Appreciate it, sir. Mitzvah TV for $20.
Whoa.
Wow, that's a lot of words. Too bad I'm not reading them.
Hell yeah.
Okay, now let's skip the message. No.
Yeah, skip this $20.
You heard
It's for Richard, who's sick.
Yeah, this is for Richard, so you could get some meds or food or hookers. Lol. Semicolon. Feel better soon, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I hope he is feeling. I haven't seen him in the chat in a while, so I think he did actually fall asleep. Thank you. Mitzvah,
Or he died.
A more
One of the
productive
two.
use of his time.
Or he's dead.
Sig Sauer for $4.99. Sig Armor. They're not sitting on buckets anymore, so they've obviously fixed the problem.
They gave them office chairs, I'll have you know. Thank you, Sig, for the $4.99. You know, it's crazy that Sig is sending us so many super chats. You think they could have afforded to give them better buckets before 2018 or whatever.
Sig,
Instead-
what are you doing? You could have spent all this on lawyers.
Yeah, I was going to say they
So
said their
true.
insider threat to take us all out, and take bong hits all night.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, John. I forgot about this in the mix. To all the
It's okay,
470
dude.
people here that are still watching us right now, get through this. John Shepard has made something very important that he wants to talk about. So this is a give, send, go for Tower Shield Pro 2A. And why don't you go ahead and give us the rundown on it, good sir?
Yeah, thank you. So I'm trying to start my own nonprofit to defend primarily the Second Amendment, but also like the whole rest of the Bill of Rights. So setting up a nonprofit. Yeah, thank you. Setting up a nonprofit's not super cheap. Like the filing alone, $600, and I don't have that. So I went ahead, set up a Give, Send, Go crowdfunding campaign to cover the cost of the filing, but also additional things like artwork for the website, an actual like functioning website, because I'm not a tech person. Web dev's a bit beyond me. So get all that set up. I don't think I've set it too high. If I have, my bad. But yeah, it'd be fantastic if you guys could head on over there, drop a couple dollars, see if we can get going. Help fund campaigns like I guess not campaigns, but help fund legal cases like Matthew Hoover's Sear Firearms and Navy veteran Patrick Adamiak.
Heck yeah.
Very
Perfect.
wholesome, very
Awesome.
based.
Appreciate that,
Yeah.
man. Thank you.
Very based, very wholesome.
Very
Link-
based of him.
Link
Yeah.
is in the chat, pinned to the
Thank you,
top. Click on it. Give them your dollars rather than this slop stream that we're doing on a Friday night.
Give us your
please don't-
money. We need your money. Go fund, go fund, go.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Trent.
Trent.
Bro, Trent is barely hanging on right now.
He's so good.
But bro,
What if I
Trench
told you-
barely hanging on is about 100 times as intelligent as the last
What
guy.
if
we
I
had.
told you I'm eating Buffalo Wild
Oh.
Wings right now?
Oh, there
believe
you
you.
go. I'm actually
Buffalo
now. I'm actually
Wild
doing
Wings
this.
goes
So,
hard.
dude, what's
Do not
that?
You know what?
come.
I don't believe in Buffalo Wild Wings. Bones, your turn. You got 5. Here we go.
Plastic guy for $2. The fix would be a paper saying buy a Glock.
Ooh, true. Thank you.
Very true. I
Plastic
actually
Guy
wanted
for
to say
$2.
that at some point.
You know, honestly, Glock's best marketing in decades has just been doing nothing and let Sig implode.
Give them enough rope to hang themselves.
First of all,
80.
vintage. Hold on. First of all, vintage. You racist piece of shit. I'm white, so that is not what I'm drinking.
Okay. Are we good?
Was that all?
Yeah,
Do not
go for
come.
it, man. We're never gonna get through these if you don't read.
SB89 for $2. Trench. Why do they call her Night Pog?
Very original. Came up with it on my own. My own porn stream. Very original.
No, but isn't Pog a complimentary term? Am I crazy?
Yes, I
You
believe
just
so.
gotta let him.
Well, my friends have
You
told
just
me.
gotta let him cook.
Well, thank you, SB89, for the $2. Mitzvah TV for $1.99 says deep pussied out. That's an interesting phrasing there. But no, he actually
Yeah,
came
he showed up at the end.
on on the show. He came on the show and he did his best. He did his best or something.
He came
but
so
thank you very
fucking
much
hard.
Thanks, MidSpot TV, for the 1 minute. Appreciate it, sir. Ike Watts for $2 says, "What about HS Products Echelon?" That's Springfield, right? So Springfield Armory's Echelon. It's not exciting to me, but I've heard mediocre things about it. So
I've heard that it's fine.
A gun of all time.
You know, I haven't heard of it shooting someone though, so I would buy it above. Thank you for the $2, Ike Watts. Charles Chuck for $2 says, "Why is Trent looking like a snack on vacation?"
So many mozzarella sticks, so much marinara.
Was this you, Dank? Did you make this one?
No, I didn't.
Oh my goodness!
So many memes.
I wish
so many.
it was me. It wasn't.
That is good. Oh, there's another one somewhere. Let me get back in the
I sent you one. It was pretty cool, I thought.
Oh, yes, you did. Yes, you did. Downloads. It's on here somewhere. Okay, I can share this tab instead. Yeah, that's how it happens. Sometimes it do be like that.
Oh my god, that's my next. That's my next thumbnail.
That's good.
That's my next thumbnail.
Are you still in Trip
I can send it to you, Trench, here after the stream.
That is my next thumbnail, regardless of topic, how severe it is.
That's awesome.
Mostly Flyers for $1.99 says, "What are y'all's thoughts on Range Day Bro?" You're talking about George Range Day Bro. No, I've had him on stream before. I've talked to him before. He seems like a really good dude. From what I've talked to him, you know, he's good at media. So yeah, I don't have any problems with Range Day Bro. I don't know if you guys have ever met or chatted with the guy. I did meet him at SHOT Show too. Nice guy.
Great dude. Great people.
Great person. The best. Huge ass for $1.99 says, "Sigs least gay defender."
He's their leader. Yeah. He's their leader.
They're not sending their best. True.
They're sending their gayest.
That was actually Sig's greatest defender, and that was exactly what I expected, to be honest. Creek Shoe Operator for $1.99 says, "Focus, can I touch Trench? He's looking breedable." Ouch. Or actually, I guess it's a good thing, but
you know, normally I would have
Operator?
something, but I got nothing. That's just awkward. So
Thank
awkward.
you. That's so kind.
Thanks, I guess. The Cock Inspector for $4.99 says, "Sig's strongest crack fiend." True.
I thought when he was cutting up, I think whatever leaves he had left or whatnot, I was like, dude, is it coke time?
This is gonna be bad. Let's see. Oh gosh, here he is again. I'm falling asleep here. Creek Shoe Operator for $1.99 says, "Trent, stop moving. I'm almost finished."
Do not come.
Madden Williams for $4.99 says, "Why am I not surprised that this is Sig's greatest defender? Sometimes the jokes just write themselves." All right, John, you want to try a few?
Yeah, sure.
All right, here we go.
Send it.
SV 89 for $2. Sig isn't good. You have to prove it's not.
Wait. Hold up, wait.
Let me talk. Let me talk.
Dude,
I'm sorry, brother. I'm really fucked up right now.
There was a 10-minute period where I tried to get to one specific point, and it did not happen. Yeah. Thank you very much, SV89, for the $2. Uh-oh.
Sig Sauer for $4.99. Get this stoner fool off. He makes Trench look like he's not a downy. So good.
Dude, that's a good screenshot. Somebody needs to screenshot that one with Trench right now. Thank you, Sig, for the $4.99. Mostly Flyers.
Dude's last job was at a Blockbuster.
Wait a second. So when we started talking about what guns he had, he said something about a 22 and a CC75.
Yeah,
he just like didn't even get to have
a bad start.
So did he not say a P320?
He said
Nope.
Sig, and then we interrupted him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we said, "Alrighty, that's it for tonight." Go ahead, King. It's all you.
Oh, sorry. Madden Williams for $1.99. I bet this guy wears pajamas out in public.
It seems like the type.
Yeah.
He's hanging around my local 7-Eleven.
He's like, in a Walmart, like in the dairy aisle.
SV89. Get better soon, buddy. For $2. Robin Nation, you absolute creatura.
I don't get that reference, but thank you, SB89. I appreciate you. I got it.
He was appendix carrying a Sig and he died.
Yes. Okay, yes, that's the Roman general. Okay, yes. I'm very sorry, but that's an awful situation, and I hope his family gets some recompensation for that.
By you, Jazz.
Yeah, by
$4.99. Holy deflection, Tard man. Sig really isn't sending their best.
Yeah,
He certainly sent someone.
Yeah, there was somebody. Yeah, but back to Roman for a second. Yeah, every time I think about that story, it's awful. It's terrible. Finding your husband, father that way, and yeah, it's just
Barry Sig.
And that's why people call it drama or just engagement hacking, grifting, and whatnot. And it's a little more serious than that. Here, I got a few, John. Arctic 451 for $5 says, "Muffa, literally doing the Chewbacca defense right now. Sad." Just like, oh.
I can't get no air in this tab.
Oh, true. Back to back, baby. Tac Ammo for $2 says the Shadow doesn't have a firing pin safety. The Shadow has never been drop safe. So, but it's not a duty/carry gun. It's a competition firearm. So his point about competition guns, I think that inherently shooting is dangerous. And when you decide to do competitions or drag racing or any sort of high-speed activity, you are accepting a enhanced level of risk, right?
Bones knows all about doing drag.
Damn it. If you strap yourself in, damn it, to a 5,000 horsepower machine trying to hit a quarter mile in like 4 seconds or 3 seconds or something, yeah, you're accepting a higher level of danger. Doesn't mean manufacturers get to make something negligently or design something incorrectly. Thank you very much for the $2 Tac Ammo. 6 Hour for $4.99 says, "If you think this guest is bad, wait till tomorrow. It's like they found someone who lost a debate with a toaster." Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't know how. Listen, the bar has been set at the bottom, so we can only go up from here.
Yep.
But it keeps
started with
getting
Matt
lower.
Branca, now we're here.
We started out on
lower
the floor, and we
somehow.
just have started digging
We've only gotten worse. Randy reviews it for $4.99, says rated E for explicit drug use. Quotas check is 4473. Also, did he just spill his bong? Yeah, dude, I saw you in chat, Randy. You were being very funny. I laughed. Thank you for the $4.99 though. Listen, guys. Public service announcement: don't come onto a public stream doing drugs that are according to the federal government, Schedule 1 or whatnot, and then also talk about owning firearms. Probably not a great idea to do that publicly.
Yeah, I got a phone call from my dad halfway through that, and I had to take the phone. And Bones messaged me, "Is like, dude, are you reporting him right now?"
He gets swatted live. We keep him on long enough. We can do it live. Oh, that's awful. We would never do that, but we're just saying it's not a good idea. Okay. Mitzvah TV for $4.99 says, okay, this guy is toasted. I vote to kick. Can't talk with an inebriated person. Get him back on Monday when he's sober. Honestly, I don't know if he's going to be better when sober. He might be more argumentative, honestly.
I don't think we
going to
should
be
ever
sober
have
by Monday.
anybody on that is consuming drugs of any kind.
You know what? That actually might be a TOS thing. I'm not sure. I'd have to look into that. 6 Hour for $1.99 says, "Put a 1 in the chat to dump this gay guest." That's why I saw a bunch of 1s in chat. Okay. Yeah. No, after a while, people were like, this guy's just retarded. Thank you for saying for the $1.99. Clay Cable for $4.99 says, "Average P320 owner." Sad day. Reno, you going to respond to that, sir? Mostly Flyers for $1.99 says, "Will you get a tax break for having him on?" Maybe, honestly, I need to apply for a DEI felon tax break thing or something like that. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. Huge Ass for $1.99 says, "When did Bobcat Goldwaith become a Sig defender?" Bobcat Goldwaith. Dude, this
comedian.
Bobcat
Bro,
Goldthwaite.
chat has been the real MVP tonight, though.
They really have.
Chat has been fucking hilarious.
I think my favorite ones are the ones that insult you, Trench, but you read them out. That's really the funniest bit.
Yeah,
It's my favorite.
I need
It's
more
my
Trench
favorite.
saying.
Actually, speaking of Trench, I do need you to read this one, if you don't mind.
Daddy Actual for $4.99 says, "Melanin detected. Opinion rejected.
Thank you very much for that, Daddy.
Wild.
Actual, no reason why I specifically didn't want to say that one.
Taking one for the team.
Midspot TV for $1.99 says, "My hatred for Sig is as pure as my blood." Oh no, hey, nothing wrong with having pure blood, you know.
What kind of pure blood you got?
Well, you know, the Germans were onto something back in the day about pure blood.
What kind of American are you?
Yeah. What kind of American are you? Clay Cable for $4.99 says, "This makes me hate the P320 even more." Yeah, definitely did not help his case to deny drop, saying there was only ever one P320 that went off while dropped, and then we showed him multiple videos in about 60 seconds worth of Google searching, and then he backtracked on that immediately.
We need to take Sig to the lawyers. We need to give this to the lawyers.
It's like they already have. It's like this, the problem with a lot of the stuff, at least that I do, is it's all public. It's all public info, right? Except for the Sig Insider stuff. Don't worry about that. And now that is moving through court cases as well. So don't worry, sir. Thank you very much for that. Solo Gordo for $1.99 says, "Yelling doesn't make you correct, sir. Deeply wrong." I agree. Thank you very much, Solo Gordo. I think if he came back on and he was not drunk, he would have yelled a lot more. Like, would have been aggressive rather than amicable. That's what I think.
Very possible.
Delete Loss for $4.99 says, "Bye, Felicia. This is lame. Do better, John. Log off and save a brain cell." I don't know if I could have done better.
I will.
Listen, I could have been, you could be playing your video games. You could have been hanging out. You could have been doing all sorts of silly things on a Friday night. But instead, you sat here to watch somebody self-immolate on a live stream. Like, come on. And Cody for $2 says, "The fatigue is real." Thank you very much, and Cody. Huge ass for $4.99.
Just real sleepy.
Listen, Sega fatigue is real. I think it's coming up. I might have just stolen somebody else's super chat. Huge ass for $4.99 says, "I believe his mother agrees that he is the stupidest thing ever." I hope his mother's a nice lady.
Bro, my man's gonna wake up tomorrow and be like, "No fucking way was that
Did
real."
I just do that?
And it was real, my Sega. It was.
Did
real.
I do that in front of 500 people live?
Yes.
Bro, are you saying that he had a what is a startling event and then just dumped his memory of it?
Forgot everything.
We should have had the.
This is
flying
what we
finger.
refer to as a Siga moment.
Or a flying finger, right, Protraband?
Or a flying finger.
Yeah.
CK for $1.99 says, "Hello, Chatatious guys. Seriously, really?
Let me talk."
Thank you.
Interrupts you.
I know. I very nice. I was very nice. And Cody for $2 says, "The fatigue is real." Well, so that's like Vintage is a really good foil, or not necessarily a foil, but a counterpart in a lot of these things because he's willing to get really aggressive with people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought Protraband was very funny with a couple of just the little jibes that were in there. But yeah, we were very respectful overall. Very, very respectful.
Protraband always has the little jive.
I thought you were going to say Vintage was good in these scenarios because he's black.
Well, also true, he can pull out the black queen card. Sorry,
Have you ever been
asking,
fisted by an
people were
African
asking.
king?
I was about to pull that up. People were asking for it earlier, so now I got to do it. Where is it? Where did it go from my soundboard? Is it gone? No way. Did I delete it? Dude, I'm gonna.
Oh,
that's what happens
please
when you fuck with an African
Oh,
king.
I found it.
Have you ever been feasted by an African king? It'll be me.
God damn it. It's my
I stand
favorite.
with her.
That's
Stand
my
with the
favorite.
queen.
On my deathbed, if I get blown up by a drone in Ukraine fighting for a war for no reason, I want the last thing I hear before I die to be Vintage Warfare. Have you ever been fisted? That's it.
That'd be pretty.
Thank you for sending this to me, Protraband. But yeah, we were talking about earlier. Roman Nenshin supporting Maria and Diana, his wife and child that he left behind, unfortunately. And I believe they are currently going through a unlawful death suit in the father and husband against Sig Sauer. So we can hope for their as much restitution as they can hope for in this time. So I did drop that link in chat.
That's awesome. Thank you, folks.
It's literally.
Of course.
Now I'm fucking pissed at Sig.
Well, and it goes between being funny and then it gets real heavy real fast.
I just got really upset with Sig, to be honest.
SV89 for $2 says a singular letter, and I'm sure it was followed by other singular letters.
What does November mean?
Yeah, it's no. I can't say that. Dang it, but,
it's like M with less.
Moving on, Cody Masteller for $4.99 says Sig sent their most special soldier to defend them. Really proud of them being progressive. Yes, very progressive company. Pro tip though: diversity hires in your marketing department, not a great plan.
That was actually the PR guy, if you could believe it.
I can maybe actually, you know what? The drugs and alcohol are to cope from his day job, so I actually kind of get it. Like it's a lot. Arctic 451 for $2 says this bundle of sticks has European room temp IQ. European room temp. Oh, we're talking about because they don't have AC over there. Yeah, they're a little tarded. Thank you very much for the 451, sir. He's a MiG 15 defender. 6 Hour for $4.99 says I believe him. He can count to 13 using all his toes.
Hell yeah!
I think the Blockbuster comment was literally.
That was pretty good.
Blockbuster's good. Thank you, 6 Hour for the $4.99.
My favorite.
Oh no, this is from earlier when he was talking about the female officer carrying a sky. Yes, the lower was baby blue. I wish I was making this up. That is amazing. Thank you very much for the $5. The light score. That is good to hear. And sadly, I once owned a sky as well. It was black though. Wasn't baby.
Wasn't Tiffany blue? No,
but I did at the gun store that I used to work at, Mart, that had a gun section. We sold a lot of skies to a lot of ladies. It's kind of sad. I'm sorry. I apologize. We didn't know any better.
TFB TV said the sky was the gun for your mom or something like that. Because it's cheap and it's colored, it's small, and she'll never shoot it.
If we're taking this argument, it's a paperweight because they're never actually going to shoot it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jay Lewis for $5 says, please make guests take IQ tests. Fucking please. Is the creature? He's human. He's inebriated. He's drunk. He's high. Which probably didn't help his decision-making process. But he did decide to come on a live stream, and he is responsible for his actions. Just like if he was drunk. Yeah, he swerved his way onto this stream. SV89 for $2 says Sig's strongest mulatto. I can say mulatto, right? That's not a slur. I think so.
I mean, it is, but nobody uses it anymore, so it's okay.
Well, isn't it just a definition?
It's a derogatory term for mixed race, specifically.
Right, but it means specifically white and black.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's just okay. Anyways, ridiculous for $2 says, as a chronic pot enjoyer, we don't claim this guy. Yeah, not helping your case either. Making everybody look bad. Thank you, ridiculous, for the $2. Huge ass for $1.99 says, I stole your joke again. Sig fatigue is real. Man, I am stealing all of Huge Ass's.
Israel.
Oh my
Our greatest ally.
And then SP89 critiques. Trent, you got this one for me, bro?
I can't do the hard R. I will
you did it earlier. You lying sacker.
You actually did.
Can't do it. I can do it. Sigger fatigue.
My
wife SV89 for $2. Thank you very much.
It would go from ha-has to trench grenade deleted, redacted, gone forever.
Article 15.
Sorry, I'm falling asleep here, guys. I have a match in like 9 hours. All right, guys. Whoa. The light spore for $10 says, for added context for my comment, her department is smaller and carry naked Glock 17s. No light, no optic, but that still makes it even worse that she carried a Sky 9.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Oof.
That is terrible. Well, let's hope she never has to use it. Thank you for the $10, sir. I greatly appreciate it. Huge ass for $4.99 says, I can't take his opinion seriously when he can't even figure out how to rotate his video output on stream.
Dude, that was my
least
favorite.
Stupid defender, boys.
Dude, that was my. Did you guys see? Did anyone catch that I had my camera sideways?
Honestly, we probably all should have turned our cameras sideways just to be funny, because it's like, listen, it's not a good tone. Okay, you come into the stream and you can't get your camera set up. Like it's not looking good from the start.
Tell me at least one of you saw me doing my camera sideways.
I saw it.
I did. Yeah, that's good.
Okay, thank God.
Huge ass for $4.99 says the DARE program couldn't dream up someone this cooked. Yeah, this is exactly what the DARE program was designed for. This was what it was designed to stop. Thank you very much for the $4.99. Clay Cable for $1.99 says Amtrak truly looks like a scholar after this. I know by comparison, he just went up a couple points because the bar has been lowered once again. Mitzvah TV for $4.99 says, shoot it joke time. How do you get rid of demons? You exercise them. Ooh, that's good. Appreciate it, Mitzvah TV, for the dad joke, $4.99. Huge ass for $4.99 says, I've never seen anyone get eaten by a shark. Sharks aren't dangerous. Listen, never happened to me. I've swam in a lot of pools. Never gotten attacked by a shark, okay? Not real.
This isn't a pool. This is a bathtub.
Yeah, that's my ex-wife, swimming in a lot lot
Oh.
Hey.
Okay. I'm sorry to hear that, man. It's like, Subarctic Psycho for $5 says, I've never been mauled by a bear. Therefore, bear attacks never happen. Also true. Dude, I hit a black bear at like midnight, heading down.
Why does it got to be a black bear?
Because I didn't see it because it was at night. It's literally camouflage, okay? So I finished off a black bear because it had been hit by another car and was like hobbling across. And I saw people like stopped off to the side, and I was like, what's going on here? And then I just see this shape in front of me as I'm like cruising down the pass between Idaho and Montana heading to South Dakota. And I just creamed this thing with the front of my car. And I was like, I thought I hit a person. I was like, this is the worst night of my life. I just killed someone. Like I just killed. So I pull over and I go over there and I'm like, oh no. And then I see this thing in the road and it's huge and furry. And I'm like,
let me get this straight.
It's not a person.
Something that was big and furry
with my car. Yeah, it was laid out. And then one of the guys that was there that had also hit it before I hit it, they dragged it off into the woods and shot it. Because it was still up a little bit. So, yeah, that was my experience with the bear. Huge ass for $4.99 says, I've never seen someone stick a fork in an outlet. Must not be. You guys are on a roll, but thank you very much for the $4.99. Huge ass. Mostly Flyers for $1.99 says he had to go fold his dishes and shave his neck. True. Thank you very much for the $1.99. Yeah, he's a little hairy. He had a certain look to him, okay? Charles Chuck for $5 says, Deep is a walking fever dream. Bro is in denial. Glock is used by BP, U.S. Marshals, FBI, Secret Service, ATFK, and local agencies with no issues. Well, listen, I think it's safe to say that Glock has had problems in the past with certain specific issues or whatnot. Well, I think just, they've been around for 40 years and they had issues and growing pains and stuff like that, just like anything. But I think that the issues were not as widespread, and at least maybe it's been memory hold, but the marketing or the public comments were not as bad as they were now. But maybe historically, one of you guys can look back and be like, well, actually, in 1995, they had a major recall when this and this happened. I might not be entirely aware of all the things that happened. Actual Cop for $1.99 says, the night this show jumped the shark. I really think people enjoyed it. So I do get what people mean. But listen, he was threatening in the comments that he wanted to debate all of us 6v1, and we gave him the opportunity. I'm always willing to talk it out. KSOP Plays for $1.99 says, that's racist. Last night, admit to illegal SBR. Did he really in that stream? Did he admit to owning an illegal SBR? Don't do that. That's not smart.
Not cash money.
Creek Shoe Operator for $1.99 says, my Goyslop YouTube content is better than the Sig guy. Not
Maybe
much isn't better than the Sig guy, though.
M67 Lemon Grenade was right. You need the slop. You need it.
Rondo Brondo says, does this Real John guy also have a YouTube? Sorry. Also have a YouTube channel. I almost said it again. Dank does have a YouTube channel. I think he has one video on it right now. So
yeah, it's the Wendy's 4for4. I don't actually make content.
Rise and grind. You've been chosen as the next one, Dank.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Shadow Force has a great point. He says that it's actually on brand for this show to have unhinged guests. One of the most famous episodes was Matt Pranka and Hop battling it out. Go mano y mano, okay? So that is what the show is known for.
The drunkest,
absolutely.
The drunkest gun tubers fighting the hardest battles.
Yeah. I had breakfast this morning versus I want to give you a hug.
Yes. Midspot TV 499 says, if I sug a sig off, is that a UD or a preemie ejac? Too dark? Question mark.
Gotta get the mouthfeel. Gotta know.
Yeah, check the mouthfeel. I would recommend doing it to an FDE version versus a black version. The FDEs taste better. Not that I would know. Thank you very much for the 499. SB89 for $2 says Trench is getting an Article 15 for this stream. Ooh.
Lol.
Nope, he was never here. I don't know who you're talking about. This is Trench Reborn. Logan Sucks and Shooting for $4.99 says, how have none of you guys spending money on super chats not donated to John's Give, Send, Go? Well, I know a portion.
I'll defend them. Yeah, I'll defend.
I know a portion of this stream is going there.
Well, thank you. I'll defend most of them because we announced it pretty late in the stream.
Yeah.
So
honestly, that probably in hindsight, it's probably better to have it earlier on in the stream. We'll do another. We'll do a couple more reminds throughout the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
We'll run it back.
But thank you, Logan, for the $4.99. I appreciate it.
And Logan did give a very generous donation. So
Logan is a very generous person.
Huge.
I know. Love that guy.
Logan's good dude. Probably the best person in the server, to be honest.
Probably.
Yeah, probably. Sig Armor for $4.99 says Trench finished off a black bear too. Not like you did though. Yikes. Thank you very much for the $4.99 Sig Sauer. Huge ass for $1.99 says focus. Stop stealing my jokes, you Israeli lover. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to save that one. To steal that one. Sorry. Thank you very much for the $1.99. But that, ladies and gentlemen, has brought us to the end of the stream.
Holy moly.
Oh, we're done.
Trench has died. Bones, what do you got
Trench.
coming up?
I just uploaded a new video on the channel. It's really exciting, and I think Trench and I are going live tomorrow. Maybe.
Yeah. What are you guys talking about?
I don't know yet. Trench, what are we
Bones,
talking about?
I'm sorry. What is the name of your video, or not your video, your channel? Is it just Bones Maloney?
Yep, it's the same way it's spelled on here.
Oh, that's yucky, Dank. I just saw that you sent me that. I don't like that.
Oh yeah. Vintage asked me to have you pull that up, and I forgot to ask.
I will share this tab instead. Okay, fine. I don't like that I'm looking at this. This is Trench Warfare. So this is an AI swap.
Oh my god!
Vintage and Trench.
Oh no,
that's the worst thing.
No.
Sweet Jesus.
That is
this
good.
Is my nightmare.
Why does it kind of look like Jocko Willink, but like Jocko Willink's retarded little brother?
You weren't there.
See, honestly, what's funny is I thought this was a Down syndrome filter, not a face. Oh no!
This is my life.
What do you mean my soda is still filled?
Is Vintage still in the chat? I'm gonna get wrecked in a second. Where video? Bones, did you send me? I watched your video. Where's the link to it, Bones? There it is.
Hold on. I'll get it.
Well, I can finally relate to
Dude,
Deepest.
YouTube sucks because I literally typed in Bones Maloney and your channel did not pop up.
Damn.
I can relate to Deepest because this iPad, I've joined and rejoined like 15 times on this thing.
Yeah, it happens. So yeah, Bones had a new video came out called "Check In on the Homies in the Woods: A Guide to Tactical Power Management." Go ahead and check it out. And
it was
of course,
a fun
we have
time.
Mr. Bones Maloney. It's a good video, very informational.
Such a good video.
It's
Good
not even
channel.
content slop. It's actually good stuff.
It's
what
just
you want.
pure autism nerd yap.
Based.
All right, Dank, what do you got?
Do the Wendy's 4 for 4. It's not
Who said
fun.
would?
Nice.
I don't have anything. I gotta go to work tomorrow. That's gonna be
So do
real
I.
fun.
It'll be great.
I'm sorry. I appreciate hanging out for nearly 4 hours. Trench
it's
Reborn. What do you got coming up, sir?
I would just tell everyone to go support Bones. I know he's putting a lot of effort into his channel, right? I know it's uncool, right? But definitely go support him. And Yeah, just be a good dude. Everyone just be a good dude and understand that the Sig stuff, yeah, it's all fun and games, but at the end of the day, they are literally making a defective product, and that is why we're doing streams like this. So, but yeah, also Protraband, keep making content. Your stuff is golden too, dude.
Hell yeah.
Amen, Trench. You are the GOAT, Shotgun OG. Be nowhere without you guys, the shoulders of giants that you guys are.
So many big gauges.
Thank you, Trench. Appreciate that, sir. Protraband, what do you got coming up? What are you working on next?
Well, we will have a video coming out soon where we find the scientifically best EDC to replace the P365 with. So look for that. But I'm very pleased to share that during this stream focus trip, I was given a community guidelines warning for my Plapjack Mac BBW thumbnail.
What a fucking title. Video. Oh my god.
Oh, you did.
So the thumbnail has been 86th. So, but that's okay. We're still here. We love it. So.
Was it just for the thumbnail?
It was sexual content.
Oh, bro. That was a wild thumbnail. Let me see if I can find. Okay, I can screenshot it.
Down.
I can screenshot it here for everybody's terrible enjoyment or something. I don't know how you say that, but okay, awesome. Got some cool stuff. I will post it here real fast. Who do I got? John Shepard, obviously. Go click the link that's pinned in chat.
What do you got coming
up? The homie out.
I don't have anything coming up. My work schedule's changing, and it's kind of screwing me over a little bit. So I'm rearranging things. Really just going to focus on trying to get a little fundraising so I can get the actual formal organization created, and then I'll start fundraising in earnest because Patrick Adamiak needs to come home, and so does Matthew Hoover.
Oh,
hell yeah.
Oh yeah. So this was the original thumbnail. Fantastic. You can see Ben Stager loved that. It was a very, very funny little image. And I'm not super surprised that they took issue with that one, to be honest. It's a little edgy.
I thought this was America.
All right, we have one more. 6 hour for $1.99 says Logan's sister is way more generous. Only in your mind, homie. Only in your mind. But thank you very much for the $1.99, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for hanging out for nearly 4 hours of the worst listening material on YouTube, where we not only roast autistic armorers, but also drunken high members of the SIGA community live for your entertainment. With all that out of the way, gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. God bless.
Man, these people took my kids from me, then they closed my bank account. I got so much anger in me, got no way to take it out. Think I'm stuck in the matrix. It's my nitrate that I'm posting on Twitter. They telling me, hey, don't say that. Can't see me in public, I'm driving the Uncommanded back.